Welcome to Outlaw Radio on a Monday night. My name is Kevin Barnes, and I am black and I am proud. And I'm also very proud to bring you another episode of Outlaw Radio, man. This is what we do. I'm on Mondays and Wednesdays, usually from 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until we choose to cut the machine off. Excuse me, I'm hitting buttons. But welcome to the show, man. Get in the chat room. We have a number. The number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. Welcome to the show, man. I'm very happy to be here. And what we normally do around this time is just kind of run down where things are in our community, current events, socio-political issues, try to inform and pass along today's dope, which is information, just in case you did not know. If I sound kind of sad, please forgive me. We know that our Packers got their ass kicked last night out of the playoffs. Bum shit, as one of my friends would say, bum shit. But you got a nice long off season to think about it and figure out what you want to do from here. Um, as we move along, I'm waiting on my co-host to join me. If you're tuning in right now, share the show. Share the show. I mean, and that's like the biggest thing that you can do besides hitting that cash app at the bottom, but also understand right now I have new apparel. My Outlaw Radio apparel is back on deck. A redesign on things. Just new stuff. I got a lot of merchandising coming down the pipe. But like I say, man, hit me up. Everything is custom made now. I've cut out the middleman and I've gotten myself in a situation where um everything is produced in house. So when it comes to the apparel, when you support the apparel, you're supporting my movement. It's just it's hard to do business when you don't have the right mechanisms in place. And so hit me up. These are custom made. They're handmade. If you want your name on it, as you can tell, like you get your little outlaw thing on the hoodie. Can't pull the hoodie up because I got my headphones on. You do it. Yeah, see that. See that right there. So, look, if you want your name on it, you want something special on it, hit me up for the apparel. The price depends on the size. Because if I got to pay more for the stock, you obviously would, that cost would be transferred to you. Um, but I do have one co-host here with me, brother. What's going on with you, man? How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Happy to be here.
Yes, 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 yes. It takes some time sometimes to get things going, but they get going eventually. And it's all well and good because I want people to be in for the show. Share the show. Share it in whatever group you're in, share it on your page. If you like the show, we'd appreciate it if was in public. Like, talk about it. Talk about Outlaw Radio. Because there's a lot of platforms, and shout out to any and everybody who has a platform. But I happen to believe what we do here on Outlaw Radio is probably the most valid, the most solid, just because there's so much information that's exchanged. It's not about what I say, it's about what everybody says. Chat room is usually on deck, man. Rail, and I see E walk in there. He said, laughing my ass off. He's laughing because the Packers lost. But I mean, he's a Bear fan. So what do you expect? Right. And we'll talk about the football shit as we go along. I know Rail don't give a shit about sports. How was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was fly, man. I did my first participated in my first pop-up event. So it was dope to mingle with other like-minded individuals and get money while I'll be able to talk my shit and spread awareness of the benefits of shadow work and mental health and emotional intelligence.
Man, don't it feel good to be able to pop your shit and get paid for it?
Man, most definitely.
Is that not like the most satisfying feeling? Especially, and I know you get knee deep, right? I know you get to going. So I can only imagine if there was some income on the line. Ain't no telling what you would tell people. But so you were you were able to sell some books though, right? And shout out to Kamar, because I know you and Kamar said you were gonna kind of team up and do this thing. So you were able to sell some of your books, right?
Yeah, my books, my gratitude journals, and I also had some CBD infused bath soaps, CBD infused bar soap, and then I had my CBD lotion and body washes. So it was dope, man.
Yeah, I'd like to get some of that soap.
Okay, for
I
sure.
like to get some of that, so I'll get with you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I said, man, welcome to Outlaw Radio. Dre Day, I see you, my brother. Y'all get with me, man. Get this Outlaw apparel, different colors. I got some different designs on the logo coming up, some variations, some vinyl stuff, some puffy stuff, some material stuff. Like I said, man, get with me, man. Just inbox me your size. We'll talk about the cost. I'll tell you what you need to do. I do ask that you send when you order, pay for your hoodie, right? And that can ensure that it comes even faster. So, support the network, man. I ain't,
Right,
that's all
right.
I ask. But yeah, man, I had a great weekend too. It was real chill. Laid back, man. It was kind of anticipating the Packer game, and
Yeah.
and it was what it was. Got their ass, got their ass whooped, but
Who was they going to? Wasn't it Detroit
well,
or
they
something like
went
that?
against the Detroit Lions, and it was like win, and you go to the playoffs, and lose, and you go home, and we're at home.
Oh,
So
damn.
it
Okay.
wasn't the desired outcome, but when you support something, you support it through good and bad. So I don't
Yeah,
trip.
yeah,
And I
for
know
sure.
everybody, well, if you're a football guy like myself, people can't wait to talk shit to you if you support the Packers, right? And it's fine. It comes with the territory, right? Mama Jenkins, she said, "Great day, family. I'm ready for my apparel. I want a zip up
Peace.
hoodie." Mama Jenkins, you'll have to inbox me your size. And right now, we're doing primarily black. We got some gray stuff. I'm not really doing anything other than black and gray right now with the apparel. But if you want a zip up hoodie, just holler at me, and we can do that. We control the narrative here. So it's something that we formulated called Take Enterprises.
Mm.
And so we're going to control our own product. So Mama Jenkins, definitely inbox me on Facebook. It's my government name, Kevin Barnes, right? This show is on my page live. So get with me. Get with me. I surely will get you one. We'll talk about size and cost and things of that nature. So let me see. She said she want black and gray.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay. That's
You want
dope.
both of them. Okay, that works. That works. I'm a inbox me and I'll reach out to you after the show and we'll talk about it. So we'll go from there. And that's for anybody. That number is 262-202-5131. Once again, I'm Kevin Barnes. I'm a proud man of color. And I do what I do because I'm convicted to do so. It's a labor of love, but it's damn sure a labor. So, Outlaw Radio, man, it is what it is. Sometimes I feel like we don't get enough respect in Milwaukee. But that's fine. That's fine because we are outlaws and everything ain't for everybody. Right. So, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Um, Ernest Walker says, "Sell Mortimer, sell." He's on the improvement.
Man, it's a classic, man.
Yes, sell Mortimer, sell, man. Listen, man, if you ain't trying to get it done, what you doing, right? Al Davis say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But this is all authentic, man. This is all good right here. This is black business, right? And you'll see my big ass out at some events with a table full of apparel so people can walk by. Because
For
I
sure,
believe we
for
won't
sure.
go anywhere unless we support us, right? Like so I
Right,
instead of walking around with Nike and all these fake ass designers that's made in some sweatshop overseas,
right,
I believe in what we call self sweat equity, right? Like so I can build my own and I'll wear my own shit, right? Like, and I hope that we as a people get to that. That's why I say support Rail with his books, support Kamar, support Courtney. We have to do for each other, or nothing we ever do will work. Nothing we ever try will work. So most definitely, man. Welcome to the show. Share the show, share the show, share the show. It's Outlaw Radio. You got me and Mr. Hugh Hefner, aka Reggie Valentine, right? So we gonna go
man.
live from the basement tonight, man. We'll talk some shit tonight. A lot is going on. A lot's going on in the community. It's just January, and your timeline is full already with a lot of crazy stuff. If you are not a member of the People's News Network, join that Facebook group. That's our sister group on Facebook. And I post a lot of pertinent information, but also something I do, and this is one of those other things that sets us apart because we're not scared or worried about anybody. There's so many different platforms presented in that group. I see so many different podcasts and internet radio shows. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I feel like there's enough pie to go around. So if you got a platform, post it in there. You got a business, post it in there. Premium Black News, post it in there. I like fight videos. Some of them are funny, and I'm not gonna lie. I put a couple knockouts in there before. Gotta steer clear of fight videos, man. No porn. That's Rail's Facebook group, freakydicky.com, right?
It has to be tasteful, you know. We deal with sensuality, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay. Sensual. It's sensual.
Right, right.
Ewok the Great, he said, got you for a great zip up. I'll get with you later. Holla at your boy, Ewok. You already know. Ewok rocks with me, man.
Popping.
You- Man, years back, I did this before. We did the apparel before. That's why I still got
Mm.
this is something else. This is a t-shirt. Me and
Okay.
my wife have, we worked on perfecting it so it'll last and that it's quality.
Yeah.
Um, and packaging and stuff like that. And so Ewok was one of the first people I was shipping Outlaw Radio all the way out to Arizona, rocking with Ewok. Ewok, he rocks with us, man. So it's going down. I got you, Ewok. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. You go somewhere with the apparel on. I got coffee mugs coming up. I got hats. People say, "What is that?" Tell them about the show. Tell them about the show. That's how we get over. Um, but yeah, man, I was watching. There was a fight this weekend. I'm a fight connoisseur. A lot of football. Man, and I got shows. I don't know. Well, I got TV shows that I watch,
Oh
and so
yeah.
certain, yeah, man, not
What you be
regular TV
watching?
because I don't watch. I stream. I'm a stream head, man. I'm a
Okay.
stream
Yeah.
head. Like I'm like all of those streaming channels because I cut the cord. I got rid of cable a long time ago.
Yeah.
Uh, Mama Jenkins said Kamar came by last week with the peace sweat. I want some of your book also. She
Oh,
said
okay.
uh
Yeah.
she said she wants your book also.
Okay. Yeah. Just inbox me. RELLY space JAI, and then we can set something up. I'll try to get it to you.
Ruben Anderson, my brother, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. He said, good evening. How you doing, my brother? Welcome,
Peace.
welcome, welcome. Feel free to call in if you'd like. 262-202-5131
So,
is the number. Let me know if my audio is straight because I'm playing around with my microphones. I don't know if
oh, that's
people
cool.
even notice. I play around with my audio, my headphones, my microphones. I got all kinds of shit down here in the lab. So sometimes let me try this one tonight. So sometimes if it's not sounding right, and
They'll
I
put
listen back to the show, I'm
the
like, why didn't nobody tell me my shit
put the
sounded like that?
reverb on it. Sound
Right,
like
right. Like Kev
T-Pain.
got to echo the whole time. He's remixed, right? Like, tell me how it sounds.
Kev done turned
Um,
into T-Pain on us.
yeah, man. Right, right, right.
So,
Oh
who
man.
won that fight? Was it the little? It was the little beige dude, right? With
Yeah, it
the
was Tank. It
tattoo.
was Tank. It was Tank.
Oh, that's
Tank.
his name,
Tank.
Tank.
Yeah, what they call him Tank. What's his last name? Ewok. How you say his last name? I always say it wrong. My son loves him.
Cause
I'm
I
not really
seen him before, and he
Gervais.
was
What's his name?
he
He's gotten in a lot of
he,
trouble. I
he
forget
was a
the name.
little active dude. He fast.
Yeah. But I don't really like lightweight boxing. I'll watch
Oh,
it.
for real?
I prefer
It's
middleweight.
it's more action. Like like otherwise it's a lot of hugging. Like when you get up in the weight class, they can only swing too many times while the muscles get tired.
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily heavyweight, but light heavyweight, middle class.
Oh, okay.
Those are like the light heavyweights and the middle class. The middleweight classes are the best ones. Where you get
I
your
used to
Roys
like
and your
heavyweight
Floyds.
back in the day. Yeah, I liked the
Yeah,
Roy
heavyweight boxing
Jones.
has sucked on
But
the American side for a very long time.
well, I used to be a fan of this dude only because people used to tell me I looked like him back in the day. That David Tua, like he was knocking
Oh,
motherfuckers out, man.
yeah. David had a nice career and then he got his shit dotted. Like we haven't
Yeah,
had really
yeah.
like Deontay Wilder was like the first American champion for a long time. The Russians had the belts. Forget the two
Them
big boys.
brothers,
Yeah,
the two
Klitschkovs
brothers.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Klitschkov.
Not
And I
are they
never
German
liked
or are they Russian?
Russian or
Vladimir
Ukrainian, whatever
Klitschko,
Russia broke into.
because
Um,
they doctors, like, and it's crazy
one
because
of
in
them
their
is
real professional life, they like doctors and shit. Like, why the fuck you choose to box
right. Well, I mean, if
if
he
you're a
show up in
doctor?
your classes, you gonna fail him. Like, no, yeah, you a
Right,
doctor, motherfucker, right?
right.
Uh, Ewok said he was a Roy Jones, man. I think Roy Jones kind
Roy
of
Jones
ruined
was
his
cold.
legacy. He ruined his legacy because he just fought too long. But man, in the 90s, Roy
Yeah,
Jones was ridiculous. Like
man.
he was who you did not want to see. And that was
Yeah,
something that my wife and I always talk about being fans of boxing is that we used to love to watch Roy Jones fights. And so,
man.
man, yeah, Roy was that
Roy
dude,
Jones
man.
will leave you looking. He made people look stupid.
Yeah,
Like the way.
he was a bigger, stronger Floyd for a minute, and
Yeah,
just not
yeah.
as He was
he was a little
flamboyant
more exciting than Floyd though.
because
Like,
he hit harder. He was more powerful. He was a stronger.
oh
He was a
yeah,
bigger
yeah,
fighter.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, man, fight. I mean, the sweet science, man. It's one of my favorite sports. So
Man.
I watched a lot of that, man. But back to my shows, I watched first of all, I love Abbott Elementary,
Oh
by
yeah, I
the
watched
sister
that.
Keita
I
Brunson.
watched that shit.
It's hilarious to
Yeah.
me.
I watched that shit. Her
Um,
wig is terrible, man. Every time I watch the show, I get mad at that damn wig. Like, why she don't change that shit? But I guess it's part of her gimmick. Like,
right, right,
she just
right,
supposed to be homely as fuck.
right. I watch all kinds of. I like Yellowstone, which is the all white cowboy stuff and the prequels, 1923, 1883. But
I ain't never seen
I
those.
keep telling people I am a Tubi, like I watch Tubi, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get enough. I can't get enough Tubi. Like all those hood movies. It take me back to the 90s when we actually used to make movies, Menace to Society,
Yeah.
Juice, all this kind of stuff. You don't really get to see black movies. Above the Rim, Poetic Justice, rest in
I
peace to
mean,
John Singleton.
yeah, I
So
think it was only like John Singleton and Spike Lee making movies like in the
well,
90s.
no, in the 90s, because you had the brothers, the twin brothers who made Menace to Society, the Hughes brothers. You
Oh,
had a
that wasn't
lot of
John Singleton that made Minister Society?
no, the
Oh,
Hughes
okay. I thought
brothers,
that was
Dead
John Singleton.
Presidents. The Hughes brothers did Dead Presidents, Minister Society.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of black filmmakers in the 90s, young, and it was hip hop themed. So,
Yeah.
it was a lot, man. It's a lot of like cinematic presentations of our
Yeah.
culture. And so, some of the movies on Tubi are trash, and I see people make jokes on Facebook about them a lot, and they are
Man, shit. You gotta give them their props for putting it out there. Like, how can
right.
somebody who too scared to try talk shit about somebody who tried?
Exactly. Rail, you get like that's my thing is that it's done and it's out
Right.
there.
And they can
And we
say they got a movie out there. They produced a movie.
well, there's Milwaukee movies being made. Baby Drew, who's if you know about rap hip hop in Milwaukee, Baby Drew is probably the definitive rapper of our generation.
They my
He
favorite.
has a movie coming out. Swift, the director Swift, and I forget Baby Drew's manager's name.
That was with the brother who was on here the other day, right?
Yeah, he's in
The
it. He's
comedian.
in
The comedian.
Tony Black. He's in Hole in the Wall, which Baby Drew is saying he actually wrote and produced. So I mean, I watched these. There's been several movies filmed here in Milwaukee because the brothers, I forget his first name, but Swift.
Yeah, I got a friend who make movies. Jeremy Smith. I used to work with him. But he
Okay.
make movies. He been in a couple movies, and man, I give props to anybody who stepping out on faith and walking their dream. Like, I mean, shit, succeed or fail, you already succeeded just for taking that next step and bringing
That's
your
right.
dream into fruition.
And you never know where it can go. You don't know.
Exactly.
You never know where it can go. So set it free. Put it in the atmosphere.
Right.
Vince Tony. Shout out to Vince Tony. Make sure you support
Peace,
Vince
peace.
Tony for first district alderman. Vince, what it do? I got Vince, man. We got a lot. There's a lot going on today, and I don't think a lot of people even recognize. I'm about to talk about that in a second. Deion James said, "Hey guys, what the fuck is going on?" Shout out to Deion James, man. Shout out to
Chilling,
Deion
chilling.
James. Deion James is a good brother, man. Deion James is one who, if I don't do a show, Deion's gonna inbox me and say, "Bruh, where the show at?" Yeah, like, I'm chilling. He said, motherfucker, put the show on. You
Right, right.
don't. Who told you to take tonight off? And I appreciate that. Him and a lot of other people. When we just do those shows where I might put the show up and then we talk amongst each other and say, hey, y'all, let's just chill for the night. People are like, no, where's the show? Put the show up. You just tuning in. Check me out. I'm fly. I'm fly with my Outlaw Radio apparel. Get these hoodies, man. I got t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, zip up hoodies, all kinds of amalgamations of Outlaw Radio, man. Holler at your boy, inbox me, give me sizes. Give me I'm really just doing primarily black. My wife said, don't be promoting the gray ones yet. We ain't done. I said, just calm down, baby. I got Just say in church, take your time, Reverend. Take your time. But yeah, man,
they don't
get
mind
with
getting
me.
put on the waiting list, and that's how you kind of like the waiting list is dope because then you don't make more than you need. You know what I'm saying? Like you assured that they're gonna sell out as soon as you got them cracking.
And shout out to everybody who supported me over the years, because one problem I didn't have before was sitting on inventory, because it went like people would come through or people would holler at me and it was gone. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so but I like that's what you're saying is very true because I want it to be more customizable about it. So I want to know what people actually want on their hoodie as opposed to just, because if you can get yours,
Right.
like I got Outlaw Radio here on the side of my hoodie, but if you want to get your name or whatever, maybe even your neighborhood, just holler at me, man. Holler at me. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do
Mm.
it. He said, I share information too. I know you do, Dion. I know you do. I know you do. I see you rocking with us. But I want to talk about the leadership in Milwaukee because I was saying something very crucial occurred today. A lot of people weren't paying attention to. And this is across the board in our city, and why our city is probably in the situation that it's in is because if you didn't know by now, Milwaukee has very weak leadership. I would even venture to say that most of our problems are regarding our piss poor leadership, from the individuals in the offices to the structure of the the things that our administration. So first of all, if you live in the city of Milwaukee, you are governed primarily by the city of Milwaukee, but you're also governed by Milwaukee County. And we know that it's kind of watered down because the city of Milwaukee has to move kind of in accordance with Milwaukee County, because Milwaukee County basically engulfs the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is still the largest, and what that means is we are the largest tax base. We generate more tax revenue than anybody else in the state. Milwaukee does that. So regardless of what people up north might say, oh, goddamn niggers in Milwaukee, we paying for this motherfucker to run. Okay. Without our tax revenue, this state would be Northern Illinois. Trust and believe. Without our city, I should say. And so, but I'm talking about the health department, and I'm bringing up the health department. Shout out to Robert Miranda. Rest in peace to Chris Johnson with FLAC and Fresh Life Action Coalition for water. And it was all about the lead laterals that we deal with. And Robert Miranda, I know Robert had an issue with a car accident, but he and Chris Johnson had led a very, very valiant charge towards the lead pipe laterals. Now, there was the thing about pipe laterals is that they were in certain neighborhoods, supposedly the oldest neighborhoods in the city, but we knew that Milwaukee Public Schools, and I was actually in Milwaukee Public School buildings at the time, a
Mm.
lot of them had lead pipe laterals serving their schools. So the very what we call bubblers, some people call water fountains, depending on where you're from. That water was it, lead particulates in it. Here's the correlation. There are a lot of research studies that show that lead poisoning has a direct effect on cognitive functions, right? So literally, we used to say, "Is something in the water? What's going on with these kids?" And there is something in the water.
Hmm.
And at that time, at first, Barrett's administration tried to come out and say, "Well, we don't know what you're talking about." Then it was get water filters. Yeah. Then it was, well, we didn't even know. And then you had this thing with the health department, in which Bevan Baker, who was the commissioner at the time, kind of fell on the sword and took the blame. Okay. And what happened was it became a merry-go-round for leadership. So since 2018, 5 different women have taken the helm, and they've all resigned. And now the latest one, I think she's been on for 2 years, Michelle Blackson. I'm sorry, her name is, I can't remember her name. I think her name is Michelle. She resigned today. She resigned today. So that tells you what's really going on with the water, because it kind of got shoved up under the rug when the COVID money came. They had said that they were going to utilize some of that money to get rid of lead pipe laterals, right? That kind of went away. Barrett wanted this to be something that he took up with the paint companies for lead paint in the homes. In older homes, a lot of the window sills have lead paint from back in the day. So at one point there was a regulation for landlords to make sure they got rid of the lead paint, the old paint. And I know Barrett wanted to be part of a class action lawsuit to sue the paint industry and say it's your fault. Well, it was kind of one-sided because he was kind of being dismissive of the problem that lead pipe laterals actually pose. Now,
Mm.
I've shown a cross section of a pipe from underground that our water runs through before. It is disgusting. years and years and years of corrosion and buildup in these pipes. Now, supposedly, we have Jones Island. I want you to know nationally, Milwaukee ranks very high in terms of the quality of their water, right? Because Jones Island has some really, really expensive taxpayer funded uh, processes to put their water through, but it's chemicals that they put into the water. I am old enough to remember the cryptosporidium scare. You
Mm-hmm.
don't remember cryptosporidium in the 90s where it was giving you massive blowout diarrhea. I say it was the original detox, right? So now what's going on with the health department, right? And we know, see, there's a lot of things that the health department is because the health department deals with, some office of violence and prevention things, some because they deemed segregation and discrimination a health hazard. The county did. What's going on with the health department? Why is it this carousel of leaders? 5 different people since 2018. That's almost on average of a new leader per year. So if you're out there and you're worried about, because once Mayor Johnson came in, I haven't really heard anything about any comprehensive planning to address the lead pipe laterals that are still affecting a large portion of this city. Is this something they're going to wait until gentrification comes into effect to address? Which is questions that we must ask, right? I can move from the health department to what went on with our fire and police commission, which basically governs our law enforcement agencies, and they're just getting stable leadership because they were in disarray for about 4 or 5 years. There was their dismissal of the police chief, which violated certain procedures and protocol, and taxpayers had to pay out $275,000 to Fast Eddie Flynn, our former police chief, who got up out of here with what young people would call a bag. There's that level of leadership, right? Or lack of leadership. Shout out to BT. Byron Terry said, "Love, brother Kevin. I'm listening." Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio
Peace.
Apparel, y'all. I'm gonna say that every 5 minutes. Get this Outlaw Radio Apparel, man.
Hey.
We trying to do some things over here. I'm trying to build. But yeah, man. And like even when like the Common Council, shout out to Vince Tony, who's running for Common Council. Such a vacuum in leadership over the past, I don't know, 12 to 16 years. I've been around a long time. I don't recall any forward-thinking leadership coming from downtown. And it's no coincidence our city is in the state that it's in, especially now when you have 5 vacant offices, 5 vacant aldermanic districts. Let's talk about why those offices are vacant. Why did all of our common councilmen suddenly head for the hills? Why have a lot of them gained or been able to acquire other high level jobs when their record as aldermen was so piss poor? See what I'm saying? Like, so this shitty leadership kind of extends itself. Uh 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 and now we have the razzle dazzle in effect where we got a black mayor, we got a black police chief, we got a black sheriff, we got a black county executive. We have, in this year that they've been in office, y'all tell me, because I'm the party pooper. I poop on both parties. I say, screw the Democrats and the Republicans alike. I don't feel like black people are Velcro to the Democratic Party, and I don't think it makes you smarter than the rest of us because you decide to be a black Republican, right? So why did everybody hit it? Because I watched our leaders downtown, the Common Council, sit silently during the pandemic. I didn't hear anything really revolutionary or groundbreaking coming from them in terms of leadership. And I've said this many times. As a matter of fact, the only thing I did hear them do was once again agree with Mayor Barrett on, hey, if we catch 7 or 8 of you niggas outside, we're giving you a $500 ticket, which is bullshit, especially knowing what we know now about the pandemic, right? So the leadership in Milwaukee, let's talk about it tonight. What's wrong? What's going on? I used to always say the Common Council's silence indicated complicitness. I felt like the pronounced agenda to really bring gentrification into this city and get rid of all of us black folks, the Common Council was aware of it, and by them being silent and I mean, you got a common council who ran with the train, agreeing with the train in the trolley with Mayor Barry, which we now know was, for lack of a better term, some bullshit, right? And over again, their thing became, well, we need time. We got to, and they would always point to us and say, well, we need y'all help. We need y'all support. And it's like, well, we supported you by voting for your ass, right? Come on. What did we do? We extended MLK a couple more blocks south. What else did we do? Automatically, because I know they do a lot of zoning and licensing and things of that nature, but we're talking about individuals who are paid for by taxpayers $80,000. They actually voted to give themselves a raise, and they got it in the middle of their ineffectiveness. $85,000 a year with, I think, about a $12,000 expense account, right? Sitting downtown in a suit. And once again, our morale is so low in this city. When we see these individuals out and about, we don't call them on their shit. We say, oh man, hey, that's the mayor. What's up, man? Let me get a picture. Instead of saying, bro, what the fuck, man? I've been calling your office, dude. I got potholes in my street. Motherfuckers breaking in my garage. It's gunshots every night. Come on, man. I get to no answer. We don't say that. Mama Jenkins said, I'm happy that you're up on the health department since Baker left, and this department has been under fire for the lying. And they cut her comment off. Nick McVeigh said, come on, all these people step down because of future indictments. Resigning ain't gonna save their ass. Okay, let me catch up with my chat room. Okay, because I've been on my soapbox. I've been on my soapbox. Let me go all the way back.
That'd be fucked up. They think they got away chilling, and
Oh,
they
it's
get a knock at the door.
oh man, listen. And we know that. Check this out. Check this out. These individuals are not street dudes, right? So when they do get indicted, when they do go down there before them people, what do you think they do? They sing. They sing a song like Earth, Wind, and Fire said. That's why one gets caught and the dominoes start to fall. Let's see, Byron. He said, it's not the water, it's not lead paint. We need to take over. Like Brazilians just did. I know you're not saying that I know. He said, I know you're not saying that I know. I think that's what he's saying. Shout out to Rick Muhammad. Ram said peace.
Peace.
Ruben Anderson said true. I'm catching up, y'all. I'm catching up. BT said progressive discipline. Nick McVeigh says, damn, when should I jump in? I can add all day long. Vote for Tony. Man, we rock with Vince. Yes, support Vince, man. Shout out to Vince. Rick Muhammad says sealed indictments. Ram says sealed indictments. There we go. Vince Tony said they created this buddy system, right or wrong. They take care of each other until they start telling on each other, Vince. Ruben said, and neither of them are any good. Ram said the feds are here. He said the feds are here. Ruben said they all eat from the same cow. Yeah, they do. He said, oh, that was Nick McVeigh. Shout out to Nick McVeigh. He said these coons serve Mr. Whitey's well. That's Ram, my brother Rick Muhammad. He said, you all are not going to do anything. I just request you vote. If you're not a felon, you can write your name in. If you don't like any candidates, please just vote. Respectfully requested, Byron Terry. I'm with that too. Byron, that's voting. So let's talk about that. Because if we're going to talk about the leadership, we have to talk about how these individuals were put there in the first place. So Milwaukee has a very low voter turnout. And what I find in most elections is there's a lot of rah-rah. Yeah, brother, I support you, man. Hell yeah, man, we need change downtown, man. Go on down there and tell them monkeys, man. Do you vote? No, man, I don't fuck with that shit. They don't vote. They don't vote. And then turn around and complain. And I've even had individuals tell me, Kev, I don't vote because voting don't do shit. They're going to do what they want to do anyways. Well, as long as you believe that, we are defeated. As long as you... Now, in terms of national politics, I think that's a little bit more skewed, especially when we start talking about presidential with electoral votes and all this kind of shit. But locally, the people absolutely hold the power. And unless they execute that power, we're going to be running what they call it, the hamster wheel. I never had a hamster or a gerbil. My mom was like, we ain't having no pet rats. So I don't know the little wheel they used to run on. My mom's was not doing gerbils or hamsters. Right, right, right. Vince said we continue to elect a bunch of young puppets in the office and have an allegiance with Massa. Uh, Ruben said, just vote, huh? They want our votes, but they can't hear our voices. Absolutely. Ain't that the problem, though? Because once they get in office, we do a piss poor job of holding them accountable. I got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Brother Ram.
Brother Ram, do me a favor, turn your device down and we all good, broski.
Do you hear it now? I just turned it down.
All right, we all
Right.
good. What's on your mind, Ram?
Right by the. Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm holding on
Peace,
like
I was
a
peace.
just
hubcap in a
chiming
fast
in,
lane. What's
looking
going
at
on?
the Bucks. I was just sitting there looking. First of all, looking at the Bucks game. They got 3 white players on the floor at the same time.
Uh-oh.
I know, man. That's just a reflection of the city, man. But you said voting. Do we understand voting? Do we understand civic government, how it works? Do we understand the different departments in city government? Because it's been a break off. You know, when it comes to voting, every time, Kevin, before I vote in every election, I had someone online say that I just be talking stuff, and come to find out he might have been high and smoking a blunt, and he went away. But I vote in every election for the last like 15 years probably. And when I get, they give you that little number.
Okay.
I have yet to have a number to be over 150.
Right.
Most of the time it's around 63, 73. And I get tired of hearing this bullshit. It feels like I got to work all this stuff. But I think it's a combination of ignorance and laziness when it comes to our black people. That's what I think. Because if Ice Cube or Jay-Z come to concert here in June, we would start planning for what we're going to wear today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We would start planning for what we're going to wear today. How we going to get there? Am I going to rent a car? Can my uncle Benz, whatever? So our priorities is just all checked. And then we don't want to talk about our priorities because we may be stepping on somebody's toe, a family member, friend, or somebody like that. But we don't hold ourselves accountable in that regard.
Okay.
We don't. And then the other thing, we don't have. Okay, so what's the difference between a referendum, an ordinance, a statute? Well, okay, so you got state rep, state senator, U.S. senator. I think the ignorance level really comes in not understanding government. Social studies is not study of government. Number one, it's not. They took that out of schools in the 80s. They gave us social studies. Social studies means to be socialized into what we into right now. And what your caller said, or what Nicholas A was saying, a couple of other people, all the stuff they say is true. So now there's some stuff going on. People that see people stepping away, they don't even understand why they're stepping away.
So why are they stepping away?
Oh, it's sealed indictment.
Okay.
So sealed indictment. The sealed indictments go back to 2016 when Trump first came in office. Remember Michael Flynn and Howard Lynn? It's sealed indictments. It's over. When he first stepped in office, it was over 250,000 sealed indictments in America. Well, I think Wisconsin had 888 sealed indictments. Now, what I was told, Kevin, that now this is federal, so that means martial law is in effect. Because the only way you can have a sealed indictment, the government is suspended and you got light martial law. And there are marshals on the street right now. The U.S. Marshals control the police now. The police work with the U.S. Marshals because there's a light form of martial law going on right now. And people are being arrested.
Okay.
So if you got 888 sealed indictments, I was told by a reliable military source that every indictment can have up to 99 people on it. So that means the state of Wisconsin, that's something like 72,000 people that's probably been detained and subpoenaed and arrested. And some of them are walking around here with bracelets. Now, I hear they got a bracelet now where they just inject you with a chip, and they can always find you.
Wait, no. So hold on. So what are they under, and what are they being indicted for? I guess would be the question. If we have
Okay.
elected officials who have sealed indictments.
So if you are an elected official, you take an oath, right?
Right.
I, Kevin Barnes, so solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, protect against all threats, all foreign and domestic threats. So help me God. If you break that oath, what is that called?
I don't know. You
It's
tell
called
me.
treason. It's called
Treason.
treason.
Okay.
And you got different levels of treason and sedition and conspiracy commit treason. So it's on the title, U.S. Code Title 18. I want to say 23, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. And then the other one that some of them be in charge with is they call it well, it's committing danger to humanity, international humanity, which is child sex trafficking. And I want to say probably 3 or 4 of those people that's on the common council is guilty of that.
So hold on. So you're saying right now there's 3 or 4 aldermen who have a sealed indictment for child sex trafficking.
That's what I'm told. Now, child sex trafficking is different levels of it.
Okay.
If you were helping you right now, if you go look it up, I'll send you. I've been posting this stuff for 2.5 years. People don't believe it, but it don't make a difference if they don't believe it. It's happening. I don't care what black person wants to denounce it. They go look it up. It's all there. It's all there. It's going down, whether you see it or not. But the only problem is not happening openly because it would tear up the country because people don't understand what's going on. So child sex trafficking brings in more money than all the drugs together. Like the price for one child can be anywhere from 15 to 50,000.
Okay,
So
I
that's
don't
like
want to.
25 times all the drugs together. I'm just trying to. So when you talk about this traffic, so you got child sex and you got human traffic. I mean, they actually bringing people over here in containers. You know, like you hear that stuff every day about the borders and stuff like that. Now let's talk about Wisconsin. Paul Ryan was charged with that. You know, former U.S.
Right, Eddie Munster.
Representative, he was charged with that.
Eddie Munster.
Yeah, he looked like Eddie Munster. That's what we used to
Right,
call
right,
Paul
right, right,
Ryan,
right,
Eddie
right,
Munster.
right, right, right,
But so
right,
hold on,
right,
hold on,
right,
hold
right.
on. I don't want to cast the net too wide, right? I don't want to cast the net too wide.
Keep it narrow. Keep it narrow.
So because we're talking about the leadership in Milwaukee. We're talking about 5 aldermen who headed for the hills. After years and
No, they ain't
years
headed for no hills.
after years and years
Okay.
of ineffectiveness, they vacated their office. So, and
Okay.
some of them
Let's
have gotten
talk about that.
bigger and better jobs. So
Let's just talk about that. Let's talk about that. So, if you got a big movie going on, and it's easier to remove. Okay, when Willie Hines Sr. was asked to step away from office, you know why he stepped away the way he did?
Why?
Because the corruption over at West Lawn Gardens was so deep that they told him if he kept on, that they were going to take him in court and put it all on TV and drag his name through the mud, and he'd be done. So he stepped away. And then they just told Joe Davis not to run again.
Okay,
because of what happened at Westland. Now you talking about $83 million and not one black contractor, no black business got nothing. We don't talk about that enough because that money can transform what's going on in Milwaukee. So I don't get always mad at. I get mad at this leadership because of how they are serving the white man being a Sambo and a coon.
Okay.
And Uncle Ruckus.
Okay.
And it's on a lot of levels. Then you got to look at all the imperial, I call it imperialism, hires to be over these agencies. So when you look at these agencies in Wisconsin, just say Milwaukee. Why is it the majority of them are not from Wisconsin? They're not from here. Okay. When you're at the head of these agencies, a lot of government agencies, public agencies, businesses, why are the black people not from Milwaukee? See, we got to look at that. This is how the Jew is playing that. Because the Jew, the Irish Jew, the German Jew is in control.
Okay.
They're in control through these organizations like the Bradley Foundation, the Greater Milwaukee Association. That's what we got to look at. Ashanti and them are just pawns. They control MPS. They pretty much pick the person they want to be superintendent. What do we control? We control our vote and being educated. What's that place called? Nation Consulting.
Right. Nation Consulting is one.
If you can't raise your own money, you work for them.
Right. Well,
like
yeah.
we talked about the other day. You show me one black elected official that did their own fundraising and got in office. Show me one. Give me a name. Anybody on your call or your show, give me one name. Give me one name, because you can't give me a name. So, you have a fundraiser, you go to a particular church, that's not hard to do, but why don't we do it? Because the mentality of the black people here, educated, street level, they want to slide into something. They don't want to put the work in.
Okay.
They want something given to them, or they want to qualify for something. So that's why politically we are weak.
Okay.
Weak.
So let's stop it right there, because I want to get some other people, because I want to know. I really want to know. Our leadership is just wacky, right? And we as a city, as a black population, have put up with some extreme foolishness over the years. Okay. Let me catch up with my chat room. Nick McVeigh says, let me tell you, I work for the DPW. 3 top people that are in charge of the DPW just resigned because of allegations of embezzlement. Heard this shit straight up from the man at work. Okay. Ruben Anderson said, yep. Well, he wasn't agreeing with that. He was talking about something else, but he said, what's your point? I think he was talking to Ram. Let me see. Byron Terry.
What are you talking to me?
I think he was asking you, what's your point? I want to make sure.
What do you mean, what's my point? What are you talking about?
We'll get to it. Just calm down, as they say. Just, take your time, Reverend. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Byron says, today's indictment means you shall be called to testify. A witness to a crime shall be called to testify. What happened to telling the truth, Outlaw? I don't know, B. I don't know. You talking about what an indictment means. I like to believe we're presenting truth. Neighborhood crimes don't matter, he says. Let me see. Nick McVeigh. He said Ram has a point. These elected officials have a bond, have a bond with their oath. You can sue their bond. Okay. Ruben says, my brother, he said, now I would have been heard about that. It was sex trafficking. I think he's talking about sex trafficking. Nick McVeigh said it's their insurance. When they run out, they cannot hold office of money. I think he's talking about. Okay, Mama Jenkins, I'm almost caught up. She said Attorney Spencer said all of them are being investigated. I'm waiting to see what's going on, or who's going to jail for taking money under the table. These motherfuckers that don't vote is decayed and don't give a fuck about this city. I vote for everything in this city, and I call my alderman weekly about my hood. Also call a police department, 7th district, and tell them to get up off their asses and come check out my hood for these shots and multiple drug dealers. There you go, Mama Jenkins. Taking responsibility for it. Right? That's what we got to do. We got to hold them accountable. We have to be accountable ourselves. Byron Terry, he said he should have been Speaker of the House. You talking about Paul Ryan. T. Arthur was good, sis. She said, good evening, Kev, Rel, and the Outlaw family.
Peace.
Said they named the next in line. Nick is saying those are appointed jobs. They all are. And that's why I'm talking to us about what we're going to do, because we hold the power. Nation Consulting. We know Nation Consulting is puppet masters to a lot of black politicians. They won't admit it. If you really want to throw one off next time you run into a elected officials, particularly a black one, ask them. Say, are you affiliated with Nation Consulting? A lot of them are going to they're gonna have to say, yeah. And then you just go and look up who Nation Consulting is, right? Go look it up.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you what to think. I want you to think for yourself. He said that Nick McVeigh said they're from the East Coast. He said this old shit. What's the latest, right? I don't know. You tell me, B. You seem to have all the answers.
When people, a lot of times, Kevin, when you put information out there, people listen. A lot of people don't know. So we can't be arrogant thinking that everybody know what we know. That is not true. I've been out here a long time. It is stuff that I won't even say on the show, on the phone, that you and I even talk about. But the corruption goes all the way up to Madison. We just talking about the connection to Milwaukee. So the problem is that what people not looking at also is that the damage that Scott Walker did. See, when they pushed that referendum for the residency requirement, so now white people are coming from the suburbs getting jobs and taking money to they suburbs. They don't even live in the city. See, a lot of people not even paying attention to that. So a lot of these cops are from Slinger, Menominee Falls, Manhattan. They drive down here. They not from Milwaukee.
Okay.
So you got a cop. They scared to come in the hood, but when they do come, they come in 12 and 13 cars deep because they really don't even know the inner city. See, we're not even looking at the peripheral stuff of white supremacy racism. That's what we got to call it, what it is, because it exists at the local level when you talk about these agencies. And then when you work in these agencies, you see the racism in the nonprofits. The nonprofits are funded by rich white people, mostly Jewish people, and the money they give helps support their initiative. They don't help make us better. Because if it did, black male unemployment would be at 60%.
Okay.
I'm just put it out there. So now, you don't have the last local black elected official was probably Michael McGee Sr. and Jr. And they bucked the system. Because they were the only ones I knew they were talking about this development stuff with Mandel. They was only, and that's when they was just getting started down there on the east side before they even got the Third Ward and all that stuff. They were the only ones talking. Ashanti had his ass there. He wasn't talking about none of that.
Okay.
He wasn't talking about none of that. What about the 30% mandatory requirement that's on the books for participation of black tradesmen and contractors that's not ever being enforced? That's on the book. On every contract that the city issues out, there's a 30% mandate. The city of Milwaukee is what is it? Over 50% black?
40.
60-something% black?
40.
It's in the 50s. It's in the 50s. We're gonna add our content Hispanic brothers, but anyway. We're gonna say 50. So more than half of the city is
He just
black.
threw some people in there and shit. We gonna ask motherfuckers from the east side. They count them
Yeah.
too.
But what I'm saying is, white people have used city contracts to start small businesses and get rich, and we still fighting for the same stuff we were fighting for after King was murdered.
Right. Okay. Let me catch my chat room up. Then said we can't just vote. We have to know those we put in office, especially their agenda, before we even allow them on the ballot. Milwaukee is known for telling black people who to vote for, most often just because they black, not knowing that they're handpicked. Mama Jenkins said Chris Abley controls this city. He buys and pays to be the boss. Chris Abley is a very benevolent individual. He holds a lot of power. Look, he basically, and good or bad, he basically put DC Crowley in as the supervisor, the county supervisor.
Yeah.
Right. So he basically paid.
You know what they call him?
You
know what they call Chris Abley?
$750,000. I know we used to call him Bruce Wayne. I don't know what anybody else know.
No. He's a downtown daddy.
Oh wow.
See, because all these black elected officials got downtown daddies.
Right.
They give them an allowance. They got downtown daddies.
Ruben said no one can look into a man's mind to know his intent, yet a tree is known by its fruit. I agree. And sometimes people can't pull the wool over your eyes. And I think one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to talk over the people's head, because I understand a lot of people are like, Kev, I got a lot of shit going on. Like, I'm working, I'm trying to take care of these kids. But I think, you got to make time for things that are important. And I don't expect you to know every nuance of politics, but some time needs to be invested on our behalf. Some time needs to be invested on our part to figure out, because almost everything in this city that you see that's dysfunctional, there's an individual or an office or a commission or group that is responsible for it. So you have to know where to go, because if you call downtown, you're going to get a lot of bullshit. Could you please hold? You'll get passed around like a $2 hold. You will never know. By the time by the time they do answer the phone, I forgot what the fuck I called for. So we do need, there's some information that needs to be passed. Byron Terry
Kevin,
said,
tell me this.
hold on. Byron Terry said, Mama Jenkins, David Clark said he suffered from penis envy. Yeah, what was David Clark was talking about? You know, he got into some other shit. Like he was tripping. Shout out to my brother Joey Phillips. He said, "What it do, bro?" And Outlaw family, peace. JoJo, what it
Peace.
do, man? Welcome to Outlaw Radio. It's a Monday night, man. We just talking shit and swallowing spit as normal. I got brother Ram on the phone. He's Ram and I had some very interesting conversations, and I'm telling you, he hasn't even scratched the surface on some of the shit he's told me. Right? So just fasten your seatbelt. If you want to call in, the number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. Y'all better call in and get these Outlaw Radio hoodies. I know that. Y'all better get these hoodies. Nation
What if I gotta
Consulting.
give me a hoodie?
Nick McVeigh said Nation Consulting 5027 West North Avenue. Barbecue time, he said. Byron said you either know or you don't know. Divide and conquer. Yeah, but I think we gotta do a better job of trying to bring people into the know. And somehow we gotta simplify this information. I had an idea one time. What if we just kind of made handbills that explain this whole thing and just like distributed them in each neighborhood? You can put this on your refrigerator. Need your street repaired? Call this number. Gunshots in your neighborhood, not getting a response from your police department. Here's the district that's responsible for you. Here's the chief's name. Like if you put all this information on some like a kind of like a quick reference thing and gave it to the people. He said, love the platform and always right on my subject. I can't speak on other shit. That's B. Love. Hey, appreciate you, B. Appreciate you. Tiasha Arthur said exactly. Some of the officers are from Franklin, New Berlin, and Oshkosh, etc. But she's agreeing with my brother Ram. Nick McVeigh says, speak the truth about the contracts. I like when Ram touched on that there's a legal requirement in which there's supposed to be a number of black contractors employed. I'd like to see that in writing because I want to make hay with that. I mean, because
there's a report. I'll send it to you.
Okay, if you
I got it saved on my computer and my phone. I think I had a hard copy at one time, and I actually had talked with Ashanti about it during his first term.
Okay.
During his first term. And he had a little gump to him before then. This was before the Panther stuff. He had a little gump. And then the allegation came up about him whooping his children, and he folded. Now, my thing is, that's not nothing major. I think sometimes when they get you from the gun, that's the lesser of something that you did.
Well, now, hold on now, because he was alleged to have beat his daughter with a clothes hanger. That's pretty severe.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that ain't something that he should have stood on that and took that to court and battled them and beat them on that. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of punking out.
Okay.
I wouldn't have punked out on that. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is he must have had something else that was worse that he didn't want to come out.
Deion James.
So he was being blackmailed. He was being blackmailed with something else. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Because that's how Satan works. To me, that's how he works. Like in this city, you always hear black people talk. This how scared they are. Oh, somebody got something on you. They got something on you. What you mean you got something on me? What's that supposed to do?
Deion said, "Where's Mandela? Mandela's taking a break. He's in the Poconos. I don't know where he is. He isolated his face, fucked off that election. As they say, he fumbled. He should have spoke to us more. Mandela made a mistake, and he listened to his advisors. And I think he's one of those nation consultant Negroes. Correct me if I'm wrong, because there's several lobbyist organizations that bankroll black politicians, and somebody in his camp must have told him wrong. And he should have stayed more in touch with the people. Like you should have been more."
That's some white people telling them that, right. Man. You already know.
Well, they just kind of feel
like it is, man.
Mandela, you're black and you're a Democrat. You have the African American vote. This is not true. That's not a given.
But he had no contact with us when he was in office.
It was very minimal. Look, very minimal. Well, he's been to the Sherman Phoenix a couple times.
But he has the power to shift economic funds to the black community. Now, check this out. The one thing that our black politicians will do that's doing the white community, as soon as they get in, all the stuff to improve their area economically or through real estate, they do it automatically. They don't wait on the people to do stuff. They have their own initiative. These Negroes they don't do nothing.
Right.
They don't do nothing.
Byron says black people. He says
They
black
happy to
people.
get the job, Kevin. They
Byron
happy to get the
says
job and that high salary.
black people voted for the candidates they wanted to vote for. No one asked white people who they vote for. Fucking nigga shit is making me mad. He said, he said got the memo
Yeah.
to shut down my comment. They always get at Byron. They always getting at Byron over his comments, man. Rick says,
Yeah.
boom. He said
Yeah.
at least they gave me a warning. Respect the warning.
Yeah, I got
Controlled.
my comment blocked already.
Okay.
I had to remove it.
Ashanti
I used a clean word.
Nick says Ashanti had that shit disappear off his record because he was connected.
Yep.
It
You got
is
to
what it
scrub.
is. Get in and do for self. Byron, there we go. That's what I like. That's what I like right there. Do for self. So there's
But what I'm
one of
saying
our
is,
answers.
when we went down there that time, you remember when they were voting on the fire serve?
Right.
There was no provisions in that whole deer district for no black business to have nothing inside or outside. Nothing.
Well, I thought they gave
I
the
don't fuck with
brother.
the buck.
I thought they gave the brother G a barbershop in the.
He already inside it. He connected to the mayor, man. Come on.
Okay.
He don't care about us.
Okay, I
He
can't.
one of them niggas.
Well, he does his forums with man talk at his
Bro,
barbershop.
that's bullshit, man. That's all for show bullshit, bro. Come on, man. Just call it what it is, man.
Hey, allegedly, I don't know. I haven't been. I see it.
I'm just saying, you know the term that your mama there you a jive ass? That's what that is.
Jive turkey.
Jive ass NIGGA, man.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Nick McVeigh chiming in. He said Ashanti. Oh no, I already read that one. I read that one. Okay, my brother Ruben Anderson, he said I'd ask the caller, how familiar are you with black codes? Okay, so he's asking Ram how familiar he is with black codes.
Black code?
Uh-huh.
Which one he want to know about?
I mean, I was more aware of the ones from the South, which basically turned into Jim Crow.
We got them in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because you got to look at the Klan came out of the Klan was born out of the Democrat Party. Okay. The Klan was born from Jews. I forgot the guy now. I posted on my wall. Was born out of the Democrat Party, and in the early form stages of the Klan, they had strong ties in the base right here in Milwaukee. Why? Because a lot of Jews came to Milwaukee during the inception of Wisconsin and after World War II. Right. And the reason you know there's a lot of Jews here, you see companies like Pfizer and Kohler, those are Jews that directly from Germany that came here and capitalized on the lead mines, and they got the plumbing.
Okay.
So they brought that racist mentality here with them. The whole thing with the red squads and all that stuff, and the Germans and Polish in the police department, Harold Breyer, Meyer, that's all Jewish and German.
Okay.
So the racism is already laid to track in Milwaukee. It's just that the black people didn't see it like that. Because when blacks migrated, Milwaukee was the last city they came to.
Right.
They went to Detroit. They went to Chicago. They didn't really start coming to Milwaukee until the mid 20s. We weren't coming here.
Okay.
Because we knew it was all white. We weren't coming here. And so we never really built an economic base here. We were scattered, and they had us boxed in. Okay. You know, when you look at the whole thing with autography, going to the south side, all that kind of stuff. So at this point now, we got the information, but the problem we don't use social media to empower us economically and politically.
So let me speak to the brother Ruben, because I think, and this is just kind of like my comment on that is are you referring to the black codes that were originated in the South that, like I said, instituted Jim Crowism, that then translated north as institutionalized racism once the Great Migration took place? Because we do know, and I know this from my mom saying, once she came to Milwaukee in 1959, it was still racism. There was overt racism. There were signs in windows that said colors need not apply and this kind of thing. But it wasn't the same as the racism in the South. So it translated. So first of all, I got the witch doctor in here. He on CP time. What's going on with you, brother? Mark, can you hear me?
Peace. How y'all doing?
What's happening, man?
Good,
you super
man.
delayed.
Yeah,
You
I can hear you.
screwed.
And you can't hear me?
You delayed because you answered late. And he's like,
Nah, you can't hear me. I thought you couldn't hear me.
no, I can hear you. I can hear you very clearly. Welcome
Well,
to the
yeah,
show,
my
brother.
computer, I don't know what my computer was freezing up for me. My
Pop
computer
lock.
was freezing. I
Okay.
don't think
Okay.
I'm gonna come back.
Okay. Byron Terry, he said G doesn't want his business exposed. Keep the ride of Pastor Locke. Okay. Okay. He said Kevin
Yeah,
is.
because how could he get how can he keep getting laws and he got over like 15 bankruptcies?
Uh oh. I'm not aware of
He
his
got over 15.
financials.
I'm just saying it was out there. It was in the paper.
Over
It was out there.
15. Okay.
He got over 15 something bankruptcies, and he still got a loan to even get that spot inside a fire service. Because he rented the place across the street. He lost the building across the street from where he's at. Chris was telling me about that.
Okay.
Chris could talk about that. So now he said black code. So you want to say black code? Let's talk about the nepotism and government hiring in the city of Milwaukee. Because it used to be when my mom came here in 54, 55, is that when a white person graduated high school and they want a job downtown, if they neighbor somebody, they just walk down there and got a job, and they start working in a week. And then blacks complained about it. So then what they did, they came up with this bullshit test. Okay? So the Irish people have controlled government jobs in this city, whether it's at the city, the county, or the state. They have control. They have control jobs. You want to talk about black codes? Let's talk about the lawsuit that American Family filed against the city of Wauwatosa because they had covenants in Wauwatosa. They wouldn't sell houses to black people.
Well, I know the NAACP.
I think they won something like $6 million on that lawsuit.
The NAACP,
NAACP was a part of that.
Yeah, they got a lot of money from that lawsuit. Now, Byron said Kevin is from
Right.
Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Facts. Well, one of his parents are. Actually, both of my parents are from Mississippi. My father's from Thomastown, Mississippi. My mom is from below Thomastown, closer to Kosciuszko. I keep telling people all the time, I am a product of the Great Migration. My parents came directly out the cotton fields to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I grew up on my mom just telling me each and every story to the point, and it stands out in my mind. My mother told me about how scared they were when they heard about Emmett Till. Not only how scared they were, but her mom made them hide under the house every time they heard a truck coming down the road at night, because at the time the people didn't know what was about to happen. So a lot of those black people were scared that the white man was going to come and just randomly hang people. So my grandmother wanted to keep the kids safe, so she made them hide under the house. This is how deeply entrenched the racism was. So when we talk about black codes, this is a very serious thing. Kamar, I want to make sure you're on point. Let me make sure Kamar's on point. You good now, bro?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All
yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah, my computer's slow, man. I got one of them 1989 Oregon Trail computers and shit.
You got a Commodore 64. You got a Commodore 64.
Take a second for it to warm up.
Oh man, I ain't heard that one in a minute.
TRS-80, a Radio Shack computer.
And the Apple.
Right, you playing Oregon Trails. Playing Oregon Trails.
Wow. In the library at the school.
Right.
Man, come on, you get one of these screens. Come on, I got something for you, man.
Mama Jenkins says right he is, and he didn't do this shit when he was lieutenant governor. She's talking about Mandela. He's in with Chris Abley. They pay rent on the barbershop. Oh, she's talking about G. She's talking about G. They pay rent.
G, yeah.
They pay rent on the barbershop. They don't own shit. King Drive is owned by white folks. Niggers are paying rent,
right.
She said.
Right.
Mama Ruben said those that sought to limit the civil rights of black people. Are you convinced that such codes are currently being implemented within our criminal justice system? Okay, that's a great question, my brother Ruben. That's a great question.
That's an excellent question.
A lot of people would discount, and this is for my forward-thinking Negroes who say that, hey man, that shit happened a long time ago. It ain't got nothing to do with us right now. I would say this: if something is implemented successfully, and keep in mind that these codes started shortly after the Civil War, and extended themselves throughout, I would say, because listen, one of the things we used to always say is black people wasn't really free until 1970. We weren't really born free, because before that, if you were born in the Jim Crow South, you weren't born free. And so us 70s babies have a unique kind of like example of black life, because I was born into the black middle class. Milwaukee had the highest standard of living in this country for black people. So I was born into a
That's because
black middle class. So I say 70s babies, most of us came into that, and we didn't know unless you had parents who were really able to put you up on it. So I guess my thing is, I totally think that what we're going through now is a direct effect of black codes and Jim Crowism. When you keep somebody crippled for so long, they can't help but feel the effects long term. A bigger question would be, is it possible for us to overcome them finally after all these years? Because I want to stay in the realm of, like Kamar
absolutely.
says, solution-based radio. So we're harping on the problems. I don't want Kamar to get pissed off. We want to make sure we're going to discuss possible solutions as well, right? Is
No,
that
we got the solution right now.
okay? Okay, you cool with that,
But
Kamar?
Kevin, what?
Okay,
I'm cool. I'm cool.
okay.
I just got a question, Kevin.
What's that?
I got a question. The one solution is not politics first, it's economics first.
Okay.
You do economics, then you start politics. We go it backwards. See, one thing I learned about being in the NOI over 30-some years, I'd have seen several brothers, they join the nation, and they work in the city, county, someplace, and over a short period of time, they get fired. So this happened like in the 90s when the white people under George Bush passed the at will and right to work.
Right.
That's a black code. They can just fire you just because. You only got to give a reason. And Wisconsin adopted that.
Well,
that's a black code.
Well, and also, Ram, I wanted to kind of I like what you said, but people have to understand the role that Skippy Walker and Wisconsin played in union busting. One of the reasons they can actually get away with that as well is because, and I know labor unions have their own issues. So for people out there that care, the unions some bullshit too. It does have some benefits in terms of certain protections you may receive as an employee. So that union busting has something to do with that at will kind of coming through, and because every job you get now is going to have that clause on there. This is an at will hire unless you have a contract in your hand. So I just kind of want to throw that in there. Byron says our parents came to where their good jobs were. Get to work, joggers, and make it if you have to. Okay.
But what's a good job? What's a good job? Okay, now that's what I'm saying. So the other thing we didn't do compared to Chicago, but I'm not going to compare it to Chicago because Chicago has at least a 150-year jump on us in our black entrepreneurship. But the blacks that came here came for jobs. They didn't come here to start business. You had small people, small shops serve, the lower end of complementary and supplementary type businesses. And okay, that's cool. But the other thing I see is when you talk about black codes, you mentioned black codes again, was that when they built the prison in Baskerville, the Supermax, that was the sign of Wisconsin building. They built these prisons and then they write laws to get black people in jail. So if you look up under the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986, up under George Bush and Ronald Reagan, that's what it's I think it's HR 5240, Public Law 100-600. That's dealing with the whole cocaine and drug and alcohol thing, and treatment centers and building private prisons and stuff. So when Bush was in office, that's when we really got it handed to us, because that group of blacks that graduated from college from 74 to the time Reagan got in office, that was the most educated groups of blacks in America. They survived the civil rights movement. They went on and got doctorate degree, math, MBA, stuff like that. And Milwaukee had a high standard of living because we produced with the factory time, manufacturing. And then the next thing they did, they started making excuses about, oh God, labor cost is high, we need to do something. So they moved jobs. My dad was a part of that layoff.
Right, mine was too.
They brought engineers in.
Right, Reaganomics.
They replaced black men with machines, automation.
Reaganomics. Now hold on. T. Arsha's calling out Kamar. She said his flip phone fucking up. T. Arsha will call you out about your phone. Just know this. Nick says, watch out for Evan Goike. He a Nation consultant. Chris had a regular conversation with him. If you tell anyone, I'm gonna say you a liar. Yeah, that was his famous quote, right? Like he tell you quick, like I'm gonna tell you something. And if you tell somebody I told you, I'm gonna say you a motherfucking lie. Yeah, I know Goike's coming for my brother Tierman Spencer. And they've
Yeah.
tried to establish an agenda to come after the brother Tierman. We got to get Tierman back on here. Tierman's a friend of the show. I
Yeah.
always enjoy having
But another
conversations with
thing,
Tierman. Let me see. Why Byron says, why are you worried about his finances? You talking about G? I'm not worried about his finances. I said I don't know them. I don't know if he got 15 bankruptcies or not. I know I was told that he did default on some loans, and people asked the question, how did he
all I'm
still get?
saying as a
I don't know
man,
his
I am
finances.
concerned. No, I'm gonna say this. I'm saying it because I'm a businessman and he got access to money everybody should have access to, and we can't get it. So fuck G.
Okay.
Now,
By the way, I know G. He
So,
lived in my
hey,
neighborhood for a
should
long
we be
time.
mad at him or the people that give him the money?
man, look, you've been by my house, Kevin, right? A couple times, right?
Right.
You know my house on the corner? G grew up on the corner from me. I know his whole family.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not saying something to you that I ain't gonna say to his face.
Right.
I know where he come from.
Right. Yeah, I know.
On the other corner. You know, other corner.
I'm just
so what
making
I'm
a
saying
point
is,
that I'm cool with the brother and I know him.
okay, cool with people that involve themselves with they get privileges that other people don't get, and you should spread the wealth.
Yeah.
If you got a hookup, Kevin, you said, man, let me call my boy Ram and see what's going on. I got some. I'll call the brother Ruben there. You know what I'm saying? But these Negroes here don't do it like that. So a lot of it ain't just the politicians. It's the other people too.
Okay. So B says, as long as you don't have a bankruptcy, you can't just speak on a bankruptcy. As long as you don't have a bankruptcy, you can't just speak on it. He said, are you current? Byron says, are your bills current? He's asking you, are your bills?
Who he talking to?
You. He's saying you worried about his bankruptcy. What about your bills? Get
Hey
your
man, I
shit
be worried
together.
about whatever the fuck I want to be worried about.
Okay.
Hey.
Slow down.
Hey, ain't no man closing my mouth. I speak on whatever I want to speak on.
Right.
Let's talk about that. But anyway, let's move forward.
Right. Shout out to B. That's my boy.
I speak on what I put my mouth on, whatever I want to put it on. Because if it's public money, tax money, I have the right to speak because I'm a taxpayer.
Mama Jenkins said my husband is from Kosciuszko and my sister-in-law is from Thomastown. I knew you had great roots, Kevin. Thank you. Yes, I am a Barnes. I am a Mitchell. I am a Mallet. I'm a Zollicoffer. Man, my roots is deep in Mississippi, man. Real deep, man. I got so much family, and I just named off some of them. I got so much family like down south. We own our land down south. We're as my family to own very large pieces of land due to the fact that my parents have passed away. I think I may have in upwards about 12 acres. And I don't go down there.
Wow.
My brother's down there. My brother likes to go down there. It's just not my thing, man. I mean, because my people come from, when you say country, you got to put a K on it. Like my people come from like for real.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong to go down there and build something on there, man.
We'll see.
Put something on it, man.
We'll see about
put some. Don't get so urbanized, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm a city boy.
I mean, my parents. My parents from Arkansas. We got land down in Willing Spring and in Banks, Arkansas. You know, so I mean, I feel what you're saying, but most time we get up north, we get comfortable. Like you said something about my mom about that. She look at you, huh? And I was just down in her hometown 2 summers ago.
Yeah,
they got a whole plot of land down there.
My uncles are down there.
They tore the house down though.
My uncles are down there, and they take care of the family land, and they try to encourage us to come down. I gotta be, I want to take my kids because my children have never went. I grew up going like every other 3 months. Where are we going? We going home. I thought we was at home. We going to Mississippi. So I spent the summer down there with my grandmother one time, and it was wild, man. It's crazy. We lived out in the back sticks, man. I was so happy to get back to Milwaukee. I was a little kid. I was about 10 or 11. I kissed the concrete when we got back. I literally got out my father's car and kissed the concrete. Like, man, I missed you. Street lights, please. It was crazy. Byron says Vale Phillips was the common council member when I was caught when he was caught up in West's place. He said, know your history before you talk shit. Vale Phillips was the common council member when you was caught up. Who brought up when you was caught up, B? I didn't see that. Did I miss that comment? He said not selling dope is a good job. He's answering Ram's question. He said, don't go backwards. If niggers are still at the bottom, where are the plans for progression when it comes to the brother? Rapper, football player, NBA player, entertainer, etc. Nick McVeigh says I back Tierman Spencer all day long. He don't put up with this bullshit out here. I rocks with Spencer. Man, me and Spencer is really
Yeah,
cool.
Tierman's straight.
I was supposed to get with
So we
Tierman
gotta
this
support him
weekend.
and bring and we need more people like him. Come to his aid, support him online, everything, man. That's what you can support. You post something online, you can't be hiding in the closet. Brother asked me, am I in the rear? I ain't in the rear with no child support. I don't owe nobody shit. Now.
Tiarsha said Byron.
I'll take care of mine.
He said Byron, they are getting.
I don't have no baby mamas that's toxic.
All right, hold on, man. Calm down. Drink some goat milk. Calm down. Said, what are you doing? Byron says. He says, arrears and child support. Shut your. They banging on each other.
Ooh, I ain't got no arrears and no child. He don't even know me. I don't even know that Negro.
Shout out to
Chill,
Patience.
man.
What up, Patience? How you doing, my sister? Welcome to the show. Justice for Denari. Patience had a meeting. You all had a meeting with Ashanti Hamilton last week in regards to brother to the young brother Denari Peer and the Peer family. Put us up on what happened. If you could even call in and talk about it a little bit, I would appreciate it, Patience. Because I just like to know because he's over the Office of Violence Prevention, and we wanted to see what they'd actually be able to provide. So I'd like to talk about it with her. Byron said you can't just tell me anything. Hold on, I got somebody to ban trying to spam me and put porn off YouTube on here. Let me block their ass. There you go. Block. Right. I told you y'all got to go to Rail site to see that type of shit. Come on, man. Tell them Rail, buttnaked.com.
We deal with sensuality and tasteful art.
Right. AKA classy porn.
Hey, it's classy though.
Right. Classy but assy. Byron said I'm still a nigger. Okay. No GoFundMe. Let me see my brother Ruben. What he's chiming in. He said 100 black men gathered to discuss solutions, and out of meeting, what measurable change has come forth? See, I view them as non-factoring, producing the same results as the Common Council. Okay. And I agree with you on that, brother Ruben. A lot of us, when we do have forums, see, okay, man, Ruben, I'm appreciating you tonight. Y'all got to get this apparel. Did I tell y'all, get this Outlaw Radio apparel? Check this out. Flyer and shit, right? We do our thing over here, right? Controlling the narrative. Inbox me, your size. You want black, you want gray, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, Ruben, I like that because I've been to some forums where we got together to speak. And the shit turns into like a speech contest. It turns into like a rap battle. It turns into like who can say the most rhetoric, right? Like who want to get the crowd worked up. And I agree with you in that I've left those meetings not only feeling like we ain't talked about shit, but also know that there was no long-term impact from what from us meeting, right? So I agree. So how do we turn when we do get together? And I think it takes certain representatives to be present at those meetings. Like rarely do we get, and I think this is what Vince was talking about. And we've talked about this a lot on the show, political action committees in which we as communities get together and go and demand counsel from or demand meetings with our common council and demand that they be transparent in what they're doing versus what's actually going on in the community. I got a caller. Bring this caller in. I'm hoping this is my sister Patience. How you doing, sis? Uh-oh. Outlaw Radio. You live on Outlaw Radio. You got a caller. Can you hear me? Okay, caller. I can't really hear you. I think I lost a caller. It ain't my flip phone, Tiarsha. Or you start blaming me. I did what I was supposed to do. Let me see. Dion said, let me see this. Caller, give me a call back. Let's see if we can connect you because I wanted Patience to call in and tell us what help Ashanti has offered the Peer family. Justice for Denari. Dion said the South is where it's at, Kev. Is country compared to Chicago or New York. Milwaukee is country compared to Chicago or New York. That's fine. I accept that. You know what? I feel like Milwaukee is an acquired taste, right? Like I understand Milwaukee. They say everything ain't for everybody. And I understand that. And I like Milwaukee though. And I'm also a person that believes like we just referenced the Great Migration. All right. And now I'm really connecting some things because we had a real spirited debate on here one time about choices that we make as a people, right? Was slavery a choice? Was living under Jim Crow laws a choice? Was being subjugated a choice? Well, I'm not here to say whether or not it was a choice, but I know at one point we said we out of here. So we left, right? We left the South, we came north. When the North went bad, we left the North and went back south. When we gonna stop running? When we gonna put a flag down and say I ain't going no goddamn where, and y'all gonna do what the fuck is right by me and my people? Now, if I have once everything is right and I have options, we'll go wherever we want to go, but we ain't leaving in mass no more because shit ain't right. We gonna stand here and make sure and we gonna demand that you do what's right by us. That's just a question.
I feel like that's what Kanye was doing.
Oh wow, you brought up that scatterbrain. Okay,
when he was talking about the Jews and shit. That's basically the same shit.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not really
we
pro
finna stand up.
Kanye.
We finna stand up and handle our own shit. We finna, you know what I mean? Like we ain't finna let y'all take control of us no more. We ain't fit, you know what I mean? That's basically what he was on.
Okay, I get you in that regard. Because I was
I
about to say,
I ain't talking about all the crazy shit.
right? Because you know me, come on. You know I be on Kanye heels, man. He's a scatterbrain, man. Like
you know what I mean? I can still, you know what I mean, keep my sanity about this thing about Kanye because I just focus on the real part, on the good shit. You know what I'm saying? I let all the bullshit fall to the side. That's for him to worry about.
Okay. You chew up the fish and spit out the bones.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
Right. Patience says, can I update you when we start seeing some materialization from the meeting? Yes, you can. That's fine, Patience. That's fine. I just been because I'm like, okay, here's a chance. Here's a situation where there's a ask from the people. There is now things have to become more transparent because this family has a very strong media presence. They ain't just been on Outlaw Radio. They've been on major networks. They've been on everything, right? And so if you don't do right by this family, you will be exposed. And I'm talking to Ashanti and everybody else involved in this situation. And so that's why I'm so anxious to know. Byron said, I very seldom talk to real men. It's a blessing. I very seldom get to talk to real men. Man, B, you already know, man. Everything is everything, as they say. Mama Jenkins said, I worked at Briggs and Stratton for 30 plus years, and my husband worked at A.L. Smith for 34 years. We had family supporting jobs. Milwaukee don't have those here anymore. We got 30 plus acres, but I'm a city girl too, and he can go back anytime he get ready. This is my home. I like that, Mama Jenkins.
Man, shit. Y'all sitting on some land and ain't trying to do nothing with it. Y'all could look. I'm a licensed hemp processor. I'm a cannabis entrepreneur. I'm a gardener. I'm looking into agriculture. I want to teach children and everything how to produce their own food and medicine and shit like that, so we can be sovereign and tell these people fuck you. So if y'all don't want to do nothing with that land, shit, I'll take about 2.5 acres.
You know what, real? If that's something you're really interested in, we can have a conversation. I'm open to business. My thing is, okay. I'm just not one to say like people. I'm going down there and get me a trailer. Ain't shit in Mississippi. I'm not living in no trailer. Hey, as a summer home, yeah, but I mean, do I really want to kick it in the wood? I'm not a live in the woods type guy in the South. I wouldn't mind having a ranch up north. I wouldn't mind living on a farm up north. I'm just not a southern dude. I'm a northern. I'm a city boy, man. I can't.
I like to build a house on some land down there and have it so I can go there during the winter time.
Right, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out of here when it get cold.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When in my case, I have to be honest, I'm not as thrilled about the cold as some of my people are because I've grown up in it. I'm used to it.
I just don't like this shit.
I grew up in it and I don't like it, man. Like I want to be somewhere I want to be barefoot all year round with the sun on my skin in my garden.
I tell you what, you take your ass down there where my people from, where we got land at, and go barefoot. Fire ants gonna eat your ass up. You put some shoes on. You put some shoes on after about 5 minutes. I'm telling you, on my family land, everything bites. flies, red bugs, ticks.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
snakes, armadillos. It's crazy. When I stay down there in the summer, I
So
say, man, what is
everything
that?
want to eat you.
Man, hey, grandmama, something in the bushes. Oh, they ain't nothing but an old bobcat chasing a rabbit. A bobcat, I'm cool.
Chasing
I'm
them.
cool. I'm cool, right? Right.
Yeah.
Rick's Ram says that we have worthless forms and none about economics. We don't. We have very minimal economic forms. That's very true. Patience says, I just don't want to talk about what somebody said. I'd rather talk about what they did and ended up not doing. I can appreciate it,
I
Patience.
feel
It's
that.
fine.
I
It's
feel
fine.
that.
No, it's fine. I just know that there's what you all have done, and shout out to once again to the peer family. Shout out to you all because what you are doing is creating accountability, right? You are making this so we'll see who's who. When this is all said and done, we're gonna figure out who the frauds is. As my father used to say, we're gonna say who's the fake and the fraud and the part-time broad, right? We're gonna see. We're gonna see who's wearing the skirt and
Do
who's wearing the pants here.
do
Um,
we got any black like venture capitalist groups, or like do we got black folk in Milwaukee that can put their money together and make some differences? Because like even at work today, I was talking to a claimant that called in, and she was talking about how she live in the Metropolitan Associates apartments right now, and she don't like them, but she was like, shit, my only choice now is Metropolitan Associates or Barada. So it's like I was like, damn, we really ain't got apartment owners that look like us and care about us that ain't like predatory renters to us. So like, do we got any like Milwaukee groups that can come together and start putting it? Because like, you know, I've never really been into politics because I kind of felt like, you know, I be listening to Claude Anderson and shit, and it's like shit, without money, politics ain't shit. You gotta
Right.
buy your politicians or be able to rent your
Right.
politicians. And until you get to that point, shit, you wasting your motherfucking time.
Right.
I will
understand
say
that.
this because our city is a city of silos and cronyism is so crazy here. There are some investment groups. There's groups of brothers here and there that own a lot of businesses. Um, um,
I'm sorry,
uh,
I was reading that comment, man.
I know. I knew exactly what you was laughing at. But no, there's groups. I used to rock with my brother Keith Terry real heavy and he
Okay.
allowed me to do live 3041 live when he had first purchased 3041 North. And he has a large portion of North Avenue. As a matter of fact, they just did some seminars for how to start a business and how to, be able to
Okay,
procure
yeah.
finances. So I just
Okay.
have to next time they have something, I just have to put you up on it.
Shit, I
Um,
appreciate that.
and Rail's laughing because Tiarsha Arthur said Rail deals with everyone walking around with naked with flowers in their hair.
Most
Um,
definitely, it's our natural state. It's our natural state. Shit, I'm
Hey,
get
let
that
me know
land.
about that too, Kev, when they doing that.
okay, yeah, they just had one, and that was the extension of what Kamar we actually had the conversation. That's where I got the information. It's linked to that.
Okay.
And that's I do have an update on what we were looking at too. Something's going on there, Kamar. I'll update you. We'll
Bet
talk.
that.
We'll talk. Because I drove past there and I'm like, they got that son bitch lit up. And so something's going on there, but we still have to kind of keep looking for. I
Yeah,
don't want
but
to divulge our plan.
it just means we on the right path, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something finna shake, dog.
But somebody notices the value of that property we were looking at. Somebody is being used for something. I just don't know what. So I got to make some phone calls.
Right.
Um,
Hey,
so
and
Ram
they
said
may get rid of it.
he said you can't plan our black future in public forum. Okay, I believe that because there's always a lot of plants, and I don't like to say agents and make people paranoid, but we know a lot of
Right.
us, a lot of us are reporting back, right? We're going back to this is what they do with. Ruben said you got to bring something to the table they can't shake. That's important. Nick McVeigh says, shit, I still rep your brand. Let me get one for my fiance and daughter. We're going to rock that face mask all day long, too. You know what? If I do mask again, last time I did straight bandanas, like that was on here. I'll do masks now. We'll do masks. That's something wifey and I have to look into. But yeah, Nick, just inbox me sizes and color. Anytime anybody out there wants to get with the Outlaw Radio apparel, just inbox me. Kevin Barnes on Facebook, inbox me. And because I, like taking orders and making sure people get sizes, people want zip up hoodies. They want these kind like this with So, and there's a level of customization that we provide too with the apparel. So make sure you inbox me if you're interested in apparel, because I want to start getting them out here. And I'm not going to go purchase this big old crate of hoodies. One thing we enjoy doing is manufacturing them. My wife and I doing it together. So we like to do
Mhm.
everything custom by hand. So it's a stamp of quality on each one that we do. And like I said, the customization is everything. Yeah. I think I do got a bandana for you though, Nick, if you want one. I think I might have one laying around here. I got a couple coffee mugs too, and some bandanas for when we were doing this before, when I was doing the apparel before. Um, Ram said nothing wrong with Milwaukee. It's a lot of things wrong with Milwaukee, but I think none of them are unrepairable. It just takes us to do it. Byron said, here, there, everywhere is a booger bear. um, Rick said
Man, we need G to
Kanye
call
is on
in.
point. I don't, Kanye's a kook to me. I'm sorry. He says too much crazy shit, man. Let me see. Byron said, Kevin, remember the day you almost wrecked me? How did I don't know. I've done so much crazy shit. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I almost wrecked you. How did I almost wreck you, B? Tell me about it. He said, I'm glad you used your brain. Thank you, bro. Um, oh, I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what it. Yeah, man. Yeah. That was old Kev. That wasn't Kevin. I know exactly what he's talking about now. Yeah, man. I'm glad you were, cooler heads prevail, B. I'm glad cooler head. Yeah. That was wild, man. I got some shit going there. It was a wild night, man. I forgot not sometimes I forget about that when I get on my high horse. Like, you ain't shit. I be forgetting I ain't shit, right? Or I used to not be. Patience said 100 KB. Let me see. Dion, he said, I just want some land, about 10 acres. Um, you know what? I think, but having the land is one part of it. But when we look at Mississippi, and I'm talking specifically about Mississippi, it's the poorest state in the union. It's not a whole lot down there, and there's not a whole lot of development going on down there. So you can have this land, and if you got money to put into it and invest into it, it's great. But if you just got it, and it's really nothing
I
down there.
think, I
I
think,
know,
I,
I know,
you're right,
owning it is
Kev.
half
You
the
gotta have
battle.
an idea, though. You're right, but you know what I mean. So just got to get an idea of what to do, what you feel comfortable doing, because it's a bunch of things you can do with the land. You know,
I've my
and it's
uncle.
like stuff you wouldn't personally even have to be there to do it.
Well, that's what I was about to say. One of my uncles actually has some things going on his land in terms of livestock, and he has other people that kind of take care of him. So he does that. My other
Yeah.
uncles have invested in the land. They live down there though, but he's back in my other uncles back and forth between Mississippi, but he has a lot going on. I've thought about some vegetables or farming a portion of the land and then kind of transporting the produce, fresh produce, but it takes a bunch of processes and people to get involved, and I don't have access to them right now.
You ever thought about renting out the land to somebody who does like I'm in Facebook, I'm in the Black Farmers Facebook group.
Man, real ready
So
to hit it.
so you be seeing, well, no, I just be, man, I'm in them Black Farmers groups, G, and I be seeing people like, yeah, I got 134 acres my granddaddy left me. I don't know what to do with it. Be like, God damn. It's like, where was my grandparents at? But but
Yeah,
they came up here to work in the breweries and the fucking I mean, I appreciate it for
right. I was gonna say, hold on, don't knock
but
their hustle.
no, I
Uh,
appreciate it, but yeah,
Ram,
they
who you
came up
arguing
here.
with about child support? Ram pissed off still about somebody saying, goddamn child support, motherfucker don't know me.
B, give me B was banging.
Are they arguing in the chat? I'm not. Am I missing something?
I don't
Dion said
know.
I was looking at land in Alaska. Yeah, I mean, but Alaska, in terms of hunting and fishing and
Shit.
tourism, breathtaking. Um, but I'd be open to any kind of enterprising that would, because it's just as simple as me, making a phone call saying, "Unc, I want to deed my piece off and assume the tax liability for the land and take control of my own land." So yeah, absolutely, man. I would I would be open to it, and it's something that I'd be willing to have a conversation about. It is. Land is power. What would you put on it? And that's the key. We have it, but what are you going to do with it? You got to have a little money to make a little money. Kevin discuss it with him and take care of it. Um, Grain, corn, chickens. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot.
I think
There's
I'm
a
getting
lot.
some chickens this year from my backyard, because especially like I've been thinking about it for a couple years now, getting a couple hens and shit. But now with eggs, $8 a carton, I'm
Right.
like, shit.
The price of eggs got motherfuckers getting chickens.
Right. I mean, I always wanted some, just to help for the fertilizer for my garden and shit. But I know a friend. She actually in Baltimore, like she in the city of Baltimore, and she homesteading. So she got hens, and she was saying even on like when it ain't egg laying season, you still get about 2 eggs per hen per day. She said during egg laying season, you get about 3 to 4, and then if you got a rooster around, you get about 5 to 6. So that quickly add up and become a side hustle.
Ewok, I'm telling you, I know
about money to pay for high cholesterol.
What you say, Kamar?
That's a lot of money to pay for high cholesterol.
Eggs got people out here slinging chickens like dope, right?
Hey, I saw a video with a motherfucker. He had a live chicken on his shoulder in the scale, weighing up eggs and shit, dog. Putting them.
Hey, get out here, trapping.
Hey, I've told this story, and I know Kamar has heard this story before, but I'm gonna tell it again because we're talking about chickens. I remember I came home when I was a little kid, right? And my mother said, "Y'all go out there and look in the garage and look at them chickens." He said, "What?" She said, "Go in the garage and look at them chickens." And my brother, "It's chickens in the. You got some chickens?" She's like, "Yeah, I got about 7 chickens." We was like, "Whoa!" We went outside. Sure enough, there's chickens in the garage. They just like pecking food, eating. My mom had spread out some food for them. And so me and my brother, we trying to catch the chickens and grab them and hold them, and we naming them. And I had picked me one out and said he gonna be Bob or whatever his name was. and I'm sitting here with my chicken, like I'm gonna take him for walks. I'm planning our life together, right? It's me and my chicken. And my mom appears in the garage door, right? And she go, "Yeah, I told y'all I had some chickens out here. What y'all think about them?" And we like, Mom, we love these chickens." She said, "Good." And she closed the garage door and locked it. And my brother looking like, "What?" And she walked up to I had a chicken. I had Bob in my arms. She said, "Let me see that chicken." And I gave it to her, and she spent him around and tore his head off. Right in front of me, right? And the chicken's body's hopping around. She throw the head down. She proceeds to massacre all 7 chickens. I'm sitting there like,
at the same time.
She killed them all. And I'm like, "Mom, what are you doing?" She said, "What the fuck do you think I bought them for?" My mama took them chickens inside and gutted them, took the feathers off, cut the feet off, and we had chicken in the freezer, freshly killed chickens for about 6 months. In the freezer.
Damn.
That's how country my family is.
Hey, shit. It was good eating.
Yeah, hey, well, no, I wasn't complaining once it was fried. Right? Like, oh, Bob was delicious, but she sure did tear them heads off.
Yeah, we had ducks.
No axe, no knife or nothing. She straight grabbed the chicken by their heads and did like this with them, and she had no mercy. I was like, wow, that was crazy. So yeah, man.
Yeah, we had ducks, like because my grandfather was from Fayette, Alabama. So shit. Some days you wake up, he had duck. He loved going to 7 Mile Fair too, man. Like it's something about them country cats that like going to 7 Mile Fair, but. He came with ducks. I remember one time I woke up to him having a snapping turtle in the garbage bin. Like he filled the garbage bin full of water, and the big ass snapping turtle. You like that snapping turtle, boy? Yeah, I'm gonna cook him a little later. It's like, damn, this thing look like a dinosaur.
What? Yeah.
Like when we open the lid, the big ass head to come out and try to get you. But man, yeah, I miss my granddaddy, man. But yeah, we had ducks, shit, all kinds of shit. It was always something going on when you around country people, man.
Yeah. Those people had to survive, man. I was referencing staying down south with my grandmother. My grandmother was another individual who would tell my brother and myself she had a trap. So she would show us, put some corn up in there. She would trap the chicken, kill, feather, and gut the chicken, and fry the chicken for dinner. I'm talking about out the yard into the grease by 5 o'clock. And so I've seen this, and she had pigs that she would, kill and
Yeah,
butcher, and
yeah.
So I'm telling you, I come from my people, as they say, from the rooter to the tutor, man, for real, for real. I
Yeah.
grew up. That's why I tell people all the time, man. I grew up riding horses and horseback ride, or fishing and hunting. And my father, we hunted raccoons. My
Yeah.
dad, me and my brother hunted raccoons with dogs
Mm.
in the woods in the wintertime at night up north, like crazy shit, right? So squirrels and all that. So Vince Tony said the uncommon counsel said what, Vince, I think it cut you off. Mama Jenkins said my husband wants to build a tiny house. We are open. Also, I ain't going to live there. I don't like the South, and them damn bugs will eat your behind, and you you will get the blood sucked out of you. Real, I said that 20 years ago. Listen, I'm telling you, man, horse flies. I don't know if a lot of northern people don't know what a horse fly is or a wasp. And
Horse flies bite.
man, huge,
Yeah,
and
they
will bite
big.
the shit out of you. It's like
Yeah.
wasps just build a nest on your porch, and it's like, okay, and they just like there and will get in your ass. It's crazy. Um, Byron Terry said, if your rent is 800 plus, you should look into financing a home. I agree. I agree in that realm too, depending on how much more you have left after you pay that $800. Some people can only afford that $800, and they can't do the maintenance or the property taxes or the water bill. So
Shit.
it does them no good to try and get a home if that's if
Shit.
it's
Or the repairs, man. My motherfucking, cause I got a duplex. My heater went out for my back when I had a tenant, and I got a homie who HVAC. But even my homie, just for him to come out same day, it's $75 for him to look at the shit. Not even fix it. It's $75 just to look at it. And then shit, whatever else I think I needed a motherboard on my furnace, man. That shit was like, I came out of $700.
man, when I was a
How
landlord,
about a motherfucker charge you the money to come out there to see it, then look at you and be like, hey, I can't fix this.
man, when I was a
You know what?
landlord,
It's still
Like, that's
75.
fucked up,
Yeah.
man.
when I was a landlord, one of the most dreaded calls that I could get was, Mr. Barnes, my furnace is out. Your
Man,
ass is getting taxed. I'm talking about
man.
Lord.
You
My hot
already
water
know.
heater gone, Mr. Barnes. Oh shit. I just get mad. I be at work like, I might as well call my brother, like, man, I need you to meet me, dog. We gotta go over here
Man.
on whatever. And yeah, it was crazy, man. It
The
can get
only
pretty
good
pricey.
part of that is writing it off on your taxes the next year. That repair you made.
Yeah.
But otherwise, shit, I came down the basement one time, the water heater was pissing. I'm like, what the fuck? So I had to screw my hose to the water heater, run it to the drain in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, back in the day, I used to tell everybody, you need to own the home, you need to own the home. But now I tell people, look, if you ain't grabbing a home for it to be passive income, just go ahead and rent. Like one of the best things I did was not buy a single family home and bought a duplex. But
Okay.
if I had a single family and had to fuck with these repairs and didn't have no passive income, it really wouldn't have been worth it, G.
Well,
Just to say I own some shit.
I think you have to know, if you understand money and investments and you get the right mortgage and you got the right credit and you got the right interest rates, a home ownership can be a very good thing if you know how to build equity in the
It's an
property.
asset.
Yeah, if you know how to build equity and all this kind of stuff, but you can also get fucked over very, very quickly. With bad real estate. Bad real estate investments have sunk many entrepreneurs. Dion said, I was raised in Chicago and I've been here in Milwaukee for over 20 years, but when I went to the South, I felt at home. Some people, look, I've been here my entire life, which is 47 years. My brother is older than me and was born and raised here and cannot stand Milwaukee. He is any chance my brother gets to leave, he's gone now. He's been gone for about 6 years. Before that, he had went to Florida, he had went to Mississippi. He hates Milwaukee. He cannot stand it. He said it just brings me down. He hates it. I'm the opposite, because I think the summertime in Milwaukee is the shit. I have so much fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always had the best times in the world in the summer in Milwaukee. People say I get people all the time telling me you scared to leave. I'm not scared to do anything. If there was an opportunity that presented itself that I could take advantage of that would benefit myself and my family, I would leave in a heartbeat. The fact of the matter is we all right. Me and Sheila, we all right. We all right. We all right. We okay. We okay. Vince said, Rail and Kamar, the business plan template I gave you guys as part of the Keith Terry program, the program that I was
Okay.
talking. Sharon Evans, how you doing, my sister? She said, that's nice to know. What's nice to know, my sister? What's nice to know? Elaborate for me, because I'm just catching up. Stopping by, Erica Hunt, how you doing, my sister? She said, stopping by
Peace.
to say, hello, Outlaws. How you doing, sis? Welcome to the
Hey,
show. Share the show. Inbox me for the Outlaw Radio apparel. I got the hoodies on deck. Oh man, people want zip ups. People want the new joints. Hit me up. Inbox me for the apparel. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's gonna be nice. Byron said I don't need a whole lot. Um, you said you don't need a whole lot. Okay, okay. Erica Hunt said I want everything the rich people got. That's what's up. That's what's up. Byron says how you need a whole lot and you only have a little or less. You know, that's an argument that we as black people, because and it's one of those things in the black. This is how complicated the black community is, right? If I'm walking down the street and I see some other black people when I'm swole, they say, "Damn, that dude must have been locked up," right? If I'm walking down the street and I'm skinny, they say, "Damn, he must be sick." Like you never know what you're gonna get, right? Like so some black people like to have material things because they say, I work hard, I want to see the fruits of my labor, and that's fine. And other people say, nah, I don't believe in material shit. I want to invest my money, I want to keep my money, I want to save my money, and then it's divisive. So because of my criticism of what you do or what your preference is personally, we can't seem to get it together. And that's one of the issues. I'm in the middle. I believe you should have toys. I think any man should have toys. I also believe that you can't take it with you. But that don't mean be stupid about it. Enjoy it, right? If you work hard, play hard sometimes. If you
I
work
think
hard,
I think I think you
reward
should
yourself
enjoy.
sometimes.
Yeah, I think you should enjoy what's in your realm, like what's
Uh-huh.
in your reach to enjoy. You know
Right.
what I mean? Don't overdo it to where you start lacking somewhere to
Mm-hmm.
where what your kids ain't getting what they need or whatever. But you know what I mean? You're supposed to enjoy
Right,
your
right.
shit to the point where you can enjoy your shit.
Right. I think Baby Drew said a little ain't enough and a lot too much. Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like a quandary for us. But I do agree with you, B. Don't go beyond your means. I mean, if you can't afford Gucci, don't get Gucci. Right. Like, I mean, you have to have values, right? Moderation is everything. Um, Ruben Anderson said I was just considering the OOVP and Mr. Hamilton. Don't place too much trust in him. If the elected officials have knowledge of a thing and it has not raised their voice without being invited to the table, don't trust them. I just think anybody who sat in any office downtown for the last 12 years or 16 years shouldn't be trusted with nothing. I'm agreeing with you. Like if you sucked at that job, so why should I trust that you'll do a better job over here? Maybe you will. Maybe you will. I don't know. I'm saying it's natural for me not to trust you. Um, Dion said, I'm trying to live on my land. I hear you. I'd like to own some land up here and live on it.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like
mean
to
it's
own
it's it's a
4 or 5 acres up
good agriculture
here and live
environment.
on it. So, I think ownership is ownership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rakim said, ain't where you from, is where you at. Byron said, I was burned alive about child support. I pay much more because they are my children. The thought of the government inputting in my business always fucked me up.
Shit, I've been
Um,
there. Shit, that was a time, man. Like I told you, I used to work for AT&T. When I left that motherfucker, I was at $32.50 an hour. Um, and then when I finally got back into the workforce, I had to start at $12.50 an hour. Still getting charged the $32.50 child support. So it was a time, man. I was only saying $800 a month with $1,000 mortgage because of child support. And then I got sick, lost my job, and fell behind. And they told me I couldn't renew my license, couldn't renew my fishing license, couldn't get a hunting license because I fell behind on the children that I had that I got 50-50 custodial placement with. So I'm like, damn, if I even want to fish and hunt to feed my kids, Y'all telling me I can't do that legally because on y'all books and shit, I owe they mama, but I got them 50% of the time. So that whole child support shit, I went through some shit with that. So it is a trigger. And that's why I say, man, there's a lot of things we need to address in our community. Child support reform being one of them. But before we do that, we gotta get that emotional intelligence so that when we do get triggered and a nerve is struck, we don't get ass hurt and are beyond communication.
And I think the negligent fathers make it bad for everybody, like, because there are a lot of us who are responsible and who don't deserve it, but you got a large portion of cats out here just blowing in the wind, and so then the burden becomes on the taxpayer. So we said, no, we got to make demands. We got to make. So I'd like to know what politicians are talking about child support reform. Let's get them on here. Let's talk about what the plan is.
I don't think
Because you don't hear anybody really talk about it.
Why would they? It's another device to criminalize black men. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's something else. It's something else that's working for their system.
I deal with child care applications on a daily as my job. And in my script, I tell them, do you realize applying for child care means that you are applying for child support and are requesting from the state that we enforce this? You know, they probably just hear the gibberish and be waiting for me to say, do you accept? But I mean, it's in there. Hey, if you want child care, you got to give us somebody to put on child support. Otherwise, you're non-compliant and you're sanctioned. So it's a systematic. Oh yeah, my bad, man.
No, you good, real. I just, because what you said that, it kind of triggered me to think about how many cats out here really are having babies that don't have insurance, and so the county has to pay for the birth, and that burden falls once again on taxpayers. And I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for paying for your 7 baby moms to have babies, and you out here smoking blunts and playing Call of Duty. Like, I mean, that's why I say I'm not pro child support, because I've seen a lot of great men who want to be fathers get screwed by it. But I'm saying there's a certain mechanism has to be in place to make sure cats take care of their business.
Child support do not affect the deadbeats. They'll quit their job and cut hair in a minute.
I'm a barber now.
Wages and shit. You know,
pay me in cash, bro. Pay me in cash. Pay me in cash. I see. That's what I'm saying, man. You out here fancy free and foot loose, and then I'm a property owner, I'm a homeowner, or I'm paying income tax, or I'm paying luxury tax, and part of that's because you out here and you on your 7th baby mama. Like, come on, son. Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you know, then you got the side where it's like, you know, you got a brother who went to prison. You know what I'm saying? Now all the months compiled up while he was in prison.
Right.
You know what I mean? They know goddamn well they could stop that shit, man. You in motherfucking jail. You can't do nothing.
Yeah, that's always crazy. You know, I'm gonna lock me up for it.
So now you got a motherfucker that's got money owed from way back then. You know what I mean? That's trying to bust moves now, where this shit is still affecting the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's why they not going.
And this same man is taking care of his kids. You see him all over the city at all the pop-ups. You know what I mean? All the goddamn time with his kids.
Right. Okay. But that's why there's no incentive to fix it, because, like I said before, the system ain't broke. It works for the people who implement it. Like even child support, this is just another way to criminalize black men and remove their rights. Shit, I was told I couldn't renew my motherfucking license or sell my car until I got right with child support.
Man, I couldn't jump my car.
Right.
I couldn't jump my car. Look, when I jumped my truck, it was $600, right? They wouldn't let me jump it because it still had a lien on it. It had a lien on it, man. I went down to the child support office hey, look, I'm trying to jump this car. Well, you got to give us $300. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm like, look, the same $300 you take it from me, and like I'm finna go pick my daughter up now.
Right.
Wow. So I thought there was a law. I thought there was a law that said, like, okay, if you got a lien on your title, you can't sell it, but like you could give it to somebody, and so they gave me $1 for it and sign the title over to them, and it will be theirs.
If you got a lien, they're gonna want a certain amount of money to get the lien lifted for child support.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
strange. Very
they ain't
strange.
playing with that no more, man.
Um, Dion says, I'm tired of living in the city. It's too much violence. I know it's violence everywhere, but I want to go live deep in the country where me and a bear are enemies. I think country living has its privileges. I do. And I understand what you're saying, Dion, because the city gets stressful. I get it. I'm just saying, like, once again, I wouldn't be opposed to having a farm up here, but I wouldn't want to live in the South. I just wouldn't want to live down there. It's just tornado country, snakes and alligators, and I'm just like, it's like deal with the beast that right?
Lions
Like
and bears,
like
oh my.
right. Patience Phillips, she said, Ruben Anderson, I don't trust no one, but I move strategically and I move smart. I don't know everything. Everything I've organized has been successful. Okay. Sharon Evans, you are definitely right when you say my mama was hardcore. Listen, the growing up in the Jim Crow South made my mother very, very tough. Trust me. I mean, listen, my mother knew how to survive, if nothing else, right? And somebody referenced, I think it was Brother Ram talking about Reaganomics, right? Reaganomics came through. My father worked in South Milwaukee at Bucyrus area for about 30 years, had a very good job. They were homeowners. We had multiple vehicles. My mom didn't even work after a certain point because of her health. And when Reaganomics came in the early 80s, he lost his job. And so my mother was like this: the one thing we're not going to be is hungry. So she started going to gardens. She started going to farms. My mother was canning vegetables. We had a upright freezer and a deep freezer in our basement full of food. Like, she bagged beans, peas, greens, cabbage, like whatever you could name. My mother took ham and hung it up and smoked it and cured it
That's what
with
we got to
salt.
get back to, man.
Yeah. And
Like,
she would say, well, one thing about this is you ain't gonna never be hungry. You might not want to eat what we got here, but we got something to eat. And so
right,
she
right,
wasn't, she did not play about that, man. And I
right.
vividly remember my dad was looking for employment. And my mom said, well, I'm gonna go down here and get some food stamps. And he was pissed. And what you mean get some food? And we're not doing that. My mother's like, look, money talking, bullshit run a marathon. You go up there and do what you got to do, but I got two kids here who will not be hungry. And we might have got food stamps for like 3 months before my father came in with his new plan and was like, don't cut that shit out. Like, because he told me he had to go down there with her to get the stamps to sign up. And he was like, it was just super demeaning. Like, just the questions they was asking, the way they was kind of looking at him was like, oh, you with this bum, and him not being able to say to them, look, I just been laid off from a job I had for 30 years. Like, I'm not no bum. I'm not no
Yeah.
deadbeat. So my mother was like, we had to leave because he was like, cursing at the workers, like, say, my motherfucking business and all this. It was wild, man. But yeah, my mom, she was all about survival. I'm telling you. Like, my mother went to the Goodwill. We can't afford, your daddy laid off. We got to pay out of this unemployment. We got a mortgage, we got a car note. Moms went to the Goodwill. She would find back in the
Man,
days, the
shit. I
Oxfords
stay
and
at the
all of that.
Goodwill, man.
Yeah, she went to the
Like,
Goodwill. She went to thrift stores, and until we got reset, my mom's
man.
was like, look, we're gonna survive this. And we did. But my mother was just rough, man. She just played
Yeah.
no games with that shit. Like, because like she would tell me, she was like, we were so poor growing up that it just left such an indelible impression on her that she was like, I'm never gonna live like this again. So she was just it was like it was in her to hustle and to get some
But
money.
it kind of make you appreciate it though. Like, I was looking at myself and shit, G. And sometimes when I feel like I'm not doing enough for my kids, because my goal is to bust moves to where my grandchildren eating off my moves. So sometimes when I be thinking I ain't doing enough because I ain't rich yet, I think about like, damn, my kids ain't never had to boil a pot of water to wash their ass, or open the oven door to stay, warm, or just all this shit we had to do, man. My kids ain't never seen a roach. I grew up with roaches until I was about like 12. I ain't seen them after that, but shit, for 12 years of my life, so it just helped me appreciate that shit. Cause at the end of the day, like when they was talking about food shortages and shit like that, every time I went to the grocery store, I probably made sure I bought at least 2 bags of beans and 2 bags of rice. Because at the end of the day, shit, we can live off of Great Northern beans and neck bones and shit. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like stuff people don't even think about no more. You know,
Right.
shit. I could feed a family off of $5.
Yeah, I think I surprised years back, about 8 years ago, I surprised the hell out of my wife because I said I want to plant a garden. And she looked at me and she said,
That's
"What
dope.
you know about gardens? You don't know nothing about no garden." Man, I'm telling you, when I tell you I went and got me a rototiller, I tilled the land. We a big plot in our backyard. I went and got the plants and planted it, and we had a really fruitful garden. And she was like, I did not know you knew, but you had to know with Ida Barnes because that's what she did. She planted some shit anywhere. You walk out the back door, what's that? All of my peppers. I got some cabbages over there against that fence. We won't be hungry. So yeah,
Right,
shout out to
right.
Shane Kruma. He's from Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, the next mayor of Denver. I see you, brother Shay. I see you, brother Shay. Ewok said the trains dictated what part of the South you came from. Everybody in Detroit and Milwaukee came from Mississippi. It's a lot of Alabama. It's a lot of
Yeah, my
Alabama and
people
Tennessee.
Come from
yeah,
Louisiana.
my
Oh,
granddad's
okay.
from Alabama.
Yeah, my father left Mississippi and went to Chicago initially and stayed there and then moved to Milwaukee later on. My mother came straight to Milwaukee from Mississippi on the train, like Ewok said. I believe my pops came in a Cadillac. I don't know. I have to go and see. Don't forget about the equity. Are you talking about we talking about homes, Vince? I'm trying to catch up. Ernest said my family from Batesville and this one rooster ass town called it Hula. He said I went there as a kid and hated that shit. Okay, so Ewok's talking about the South. Yeah, the South didn't, I thought the trip there to stop at Boomland where we would get just massive fireworks and the food because my aunties would cook and all this was cool, but it
That was
just
the
was
best
never.
part about going to the South.
Yeah. When you was little, right?
Boomland.
Boomland, man. You stop and get all the fireworks, man. We jump out the car. Everybody got a lighter. Parents didn't even care about our safety back then. Everybody got a lighter. You get your own lighter because I don't want y'all arguing. We out there throwing firecrackers at each other and shit. You could have blew our damn faces off. Nobody didn't care. Y'all go away from this house with them fireworks. You really telling us to go away from the house with the fireworks? Like, so we going with them. We go blow some shit up, blowing up ant hills, wasp nests, all kinds of stuff. Ruben said there exists no doubt in my mind. And DC, he said, and somebody I can't say, and see, share this with me. Share this with Mr. Moore. I'm watching, learning, and planning as well. Just keep your focus on Chief District Attorney Kent Laverne. Wishing you well in your endeavor, and I deeply apologize for my disrespect. I think they're having a conversation in the chat room. They ain't waiting on us. We taking too long talking about chickens and shit. That's what's up though. Sharon Evans said the appeal is a good thing. Okay. Like I said, I think they're having their own conversation. Shout out to Nicole Bird. Hey family, how are you? How are you? Hey, welcome to the show. Y'all get up on this. Get up on this apparel, man. Holla at me. And I'm getting women's sizes and women colors too. We just got to work on some designs. The name of a daddy. I'm not up on that conversation in the chat room. Mike Kimmon said Call of Duty and smoking blunts. You ain't shit, Kev. Hey, look. Shout out to Mike Kimmon. Look, some of my closer associates growing up were criminals, right? And some of them were deadbeats until I got old enough and we started becoming men, and it became for me not cool. So right. I know what cats do who fuck off. I know what they're doing. Sat around. I got to the point where I had to work, and once I got a family, I didn't have time to really be sitting around chiefing all day with you. But I've done it before. It's not like brother ain't. It's been a very long time since I've done that. What they say? What does the Bible say, real, about when you was a child, you thought as a child, but when you became a man,
that I'm a man, it's time to put away childish things.
Yeah. That's kind of my thing. Like I used to do that, but I didn't have no kids when I was doing it.
Kid on the way, man. Yeah, that's what I was a slacker all my life, man. I went the path of least resistance, but when I found out I had a child on the way and somebody else would be impacted by my slacking, I had to, I had to step the fuck up.
Yes, real. That's. Man, I still can, and my wife and I have had this discussion. I remember holding my daughter as a newborn, and I lost my job. I got fired the day I brought her from the hospital. But I remember looking at
Damn.
this child saying, and it was a week and a half before Christmas, and my mother-in-law was here, right? So, my mama's a soldier though. She said, "Look here, you take this money. We ain't finna look bad. You going you going back to work in January because I had taken a leave of absence from MPS to try and do some other shit that didn't pan out." But I remember just feeling like my life is forever changed because I'm responsible for this child. Anything she
Right.
eats, anywhere she lives, the things her clothes, like
Right.
I'm responsible, and it changed me. Period.
Yeah.
Like my hustle went all the way to I understood all of a sudden my mom's level of hustle when we got in trouble. I understood
Yeah.
why she was the way she was because I'm like I can never allow this child to be hungry
Right.
or not be here for her. And then when my son came, I had it in spades, so I was moving and grooving. But yeah, being a
Yeah.
parent totally changed me, man. It made a
Yeah,
lot of other
man.
things move down my list of priorities and made a lot of other things move up.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
That's when I
Um,
got into gardening and shit. I said my kids can't eat excuses or live in I'm sorry's. So I started gardening because I said no matter if the store got it or not, I need to be able to provide it.
right. Well, yeah. Yeah, you gotta make a way out of no way. You say I'm going to see a man about a dog and sell him a cat. Right. So you gotta be able to make it, you gotta
Right.
be able to make it work, right? Child support is a
Man.
necessary evil, says Sharon Evans. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Because there are deadbeats. Unfortunately, some brothers just,
And the
they just
deadbeat's not impacted. That's what I'm saying. Like that's almost like gun control laws type shit. Like the lawless ain't impacted. It's only impacting the lawful.
well,
So
they
like
asses in they impacted
yeah,
when they do try to make moves. When they do say I'm gonna go buy me a car or I'm gonna go fishing or I'm gonna go or
they just get it through
you
their
know,
chick. They had their chick get a
that's
car.
true.
You know
I,
Hey,
they
but then that be what I learned a long time ago was that's fucked up too.
what's
I didn't
happening?
learn it personally. I learned from watching other brothers do that shit.
Getting it through their chick.
Yeah. You
Oh,
know what
okay,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Putting shit in their chick's name, putting
yeah.
shit in their mama name. All
Whole
that shit be
houses and
fucked up.
shit.
Cause see, when the feds get on that ass, when the
Yeah.
feds used to get on that ass, then they start sweating everybody who named that shit in and they got to tell them.
Right.
mm, yes, consequences and repercussions. But I do think it's a necessary evil. Patience is going at Ruben Anderson. She said, or talking to him, she said, "My focus is on justice, which means anybody can get it. Chisholm isn't alone." Shout out to Carrie Walker Jones. She said, "I asked for child care and they told me when I had my kids, I had to pay out of pocket. Now with my grandchild, I have to pay out of pocket. They couldn't give me child care but offer me food stamps. What type of mess is that? It has its flaws. Why my mans can't be smoking blunts and playing chess?" You know what, Mike? If he was playing chess, he probably wouldn't have child support because he'd be smart enough to be strategic and he'd get out there and get it and get some money. Unless I ain't talking about what you do in your leisure time. I'm talking about what you do when it's go time. It's okay to do that in your spare time, but you can't be, sitting around chiefing all day and expecting somebody to hand you some. And man, these white people ain't right. Okay, brother. And I love weed and I love, Call of Duty. But I think everything has a time and place. You just can't do it when it's time to be doing something constructive and you fucking off. Byron Terry said, learn on all your stuff. Lean on all your stuff. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Lean on it. She said, Ruben Anderson, a Facebook apology. Okay. I got to go back and look at my chat
Damn,
room.
what's
We must
going
have
on?
got hot in the chat room. We was up here reminiscing about chickens getting their
Right.
head tore off. And
they fisticuffing and shit.
Byron said, what you know about pork and beans and Franks for a week? I'm just asking. You know
Man,
what? It
eggs and
never,
rice. What Master P say? I'm from the ghetto, grew up on eggs and rice.
see, it never got that bad for us because my mom was so resourceful and my father eventually found his footing. Like he eventually found a way and it didn't take long. It was before I knew it, we was back on steak and like I said, I'm riding horses in Juneteenth Day and all this kind of fly shit. It was just a short period where they had to reset after years of my parents were older. So they bought their house 5 years before I was even born. So, like I
Okay.
said, when I came, they were steady. It was just when we hit Reaganomics, it was like boom, and my father had to say, "Okay, let me figure this out." And of course, my mama, being a nurturer, is like, "We don't got time for you to be thinking. Look, you think, go over there and think. I'm gonna handle this." And it worked out, man. I'm grateful that they put that for survival instinct in me. Um, I wasn't like I say, I didn't ever live with the lights off. A roach came in our house, it would have been hell to take to the captain. You know, my mother putting poison everywhere. Don't drop nothing on that floor. She got boric acid and all kinds of shit. You know, we see a mouse, she go to the Humane Society, get a cat, and once the cat eat the mice, she put the cat out. It's crazy shit, man. I'm telling you, how I came up. Byron said Boomland was it for me. Yeah, Boomland was the shit. Patience, Ruben said patience true that he's an arrogant ass, but I forced him to drop a drug homicide case. He allows Kent Laverne to do as he pleases, but my organization put brakes on that mess, caught them engaging in unethical conduct. They under federal investigation thanks to County Supervisor David. The medical examiner was removed, taking away a shield for MPD, and the DA's office gave. He said, "Give him hell, Queen." Yeah, that medical examiner hit it, didn't he? He said playing with bombs. Yeah, we did, Byron. Man, we used to blow up some shit. Who knows, man? We used to do mad damage with them. I mean, my father especially, because there's two of us, and we would fight over everything. So my father bought me one big ass bag, and my brother got a big ass bag. So Pops is gonna spend this the 80s. He's gonna spend about $75 on fireworks, $85. So we got fireworks. We come back home with fireworks. That's how much shit he used to buy for us. My mother used to be so pissed. Like, why is he buying them all? But let them boys get what they want. We going down south. We going home. So Sharon Evans said the best part of the South for me was all the cousins. I didn't have many cousins here in Milwaukee. Yeah, I got family everywhere, man. We was all over because only the cousins I met down there was cousins I didn't know. Well, that's your cousin, boy. That's your cousin. Y'all mess around, be coating each other, you know. And then I had a gang of cousins up here, and sometimes all of us from up here would go down there. So as they say, it was mo niggas. So big family, man. Big country ass family, man. Shout out to Paris LaShawn. He said politics from alleged free thinkers. That's the next show on Blog Talk Radio coming up. Byron Terry said raised from a boy to a man. Yes, sir. Ruben Anderson is still talking to patience. He said, just time has presented itself. I'm mindful though. Hopefully our paths will cross. And until then, I'm watching, following, and if things get thick, I will be there for you with everything within me. I owe you that. I really do. So yeah, they are having that conversation. Shout out to Ewok. He said Real Masterpiece said red beans the size of some bullets.
Yeah.
Sharon Evans said, Kev, your mom sounds like my country mom and dad. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. I've seen animals. I grew up seeing animals get gutted. Like, and I mean, we go hunting where we catch. My father's gutting it and skinning it and either cooking it or selling it. My uncles would tear the door down. Y'all got coons? Yeah, because we gonna sell the
that
hides.
was some of the best meat I didn't even know it was coon. I was at
that shit greasy as a motherfucker.
Man, shit. The way they busted down, I thought it was some shoulder. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know it was coon. Like, I just thought that was the best shoulder I ever had. They're like, you like that coon, boy? I said, coon? Yeah, that's coon. Like, shit. Well, give me another piece of bread and throw some more on top of that.
Oh no, my uncles ate everything: rabbit, squirrel, possum, coon, everything. Man, it was crazy, man. My family's country as hell. Ruben says, patience. By the way, the DA knows what it do. They all know what it do, low key. All right, man. Paris, shout out to you. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all hit me up. Get this apparel cracking. Inbox me with your sizes. Inbox me whether you want zip ups or hoodies with these hoods. Hit me up. Support what we're doing. We have a plan that we are trying to execute, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. Just support us, man. Get Rails books. Hit up Kamar. Hit the Ghetto Witch Doctor up, man. Support what he does. Take teamwork to make the dream work. Kerry Walker said, I hated down south as a kid. My father's mother couldn't stand us, called us spoiled city kids. I wasn't eating that chicken, and I watched her wring its neck. My grandmother put the whoop on that chicken, so that was some of the best damn chicken I ever had in my life. And she had fresh greens out of her garden to go with it. I'm talking about, man, real good eating, man. That's why my ass wide as a pickup truck now. I came back a lineman and shit. Gonna play a line. He gonna play D-line. Sharon Evans said, "Rail, if you don't see a meat package, don't eat it."
That shit was
right. What? How do we get it? How do we get that? Right.
Man, it was
I just
delicious.
Listen, man, there's many different roads to our salvation and our redemption. And if you notice, black people agree, they disagree on all of them, right? And sometimes it becomes a moment as like right now in which we really got to put our petty arguments behind and get focused on what the big picture is. And I love the fact that Rail referenced future generations, generational wealth, leaving something here for our children to inherit so they won't have to go through the struggles that we may have had to go through. I always felt like as a parent, my job was just to make sure my children's life was a little bit easier than mine. My parents felt really, really, really good about the fact that we didn't have to go through a lot of the shit they had to go through in the South. As a first generation college student, and somebody who's able to succeed in that realm as a professional, I feel really, really good that my kids didn't have to inherit some of the struggles that I went through. And so I'm hoping they keep elevating. I hope they keep raising the bar because that's what it's all about. I'm selfish enough to want things for myself, but I'm selfless enough to think about the future for my children. And that's the way we need to be, man. And you know, we can talk all day and we'll disagree and we'll agree in some regards, but we got to get a majority amongst our minority. We have to make sure we put effective mechanisms in our community that will help us. We have to do that. And so it's so important. It's so important that we stop bickering with each other and stop, calling each other names. And that's why I don't do coon of the week no more. That's why I will call a Sambo, but it's not my focus. Right? It's really not. And it's okay to disagree with me about certain things because when I look at you, if you're a man of color such as myself, I see my reflection in you, right? And if I'm doing well, but my community is struggling, I feel like then I need to go back and try to contribute something that will help my community get to a higher level, man. And that's what it's really all about, man. And we don't pretend to know everything because nobody does. But it's okay for you to know something and to tell somebody else something about it. I believe the religious song was "I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody." Right? I think that's how it went. Real, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's how it went.
I see my cousin. She said, "Hello from your country ass cousin Nicole Mallet. I really thought you and your brother were going to be serial killers because your dad would snap chickens' heads off in the garage." I told you that's my cousin. That's my first cousin. She can verify. It was mom's too, though, Nicole. It was your auntie. It was your auntie too. So Pops would just gut animals that he hunted out the woods. Mom was the chicken killer. But yeah, man, peace and love, man. Support us here on Outlaw Radio. Shout out to my cousin Nicole. I ain't spoke to her in a long time. Hit me up, cousin. Get this apparel, y'all. Get these books from Rail. And don't be surprised when you look up at an event. All three of us are sitting at the same table. And it's books and supplements and apparel. And people say,
and a camera and some lights.
man, come on with it, man. Come on with
Right,
it, man.
right.
We're gonna make this thing happen, man. We're gonna make it happen for sure.
For sure.
I talk to a lot of people all the time. I hear a lot of opinions. I've attended a lot of events. I've seen a lot of movements come and go. And usually they either involve somebody whose criticism of the community is strong or their contribution to the community is strong. But I'm here to tell you, if the criticism outweighs the contribution, they ass is some motherfucking coons. And they need to listen to us Wednesday night because we'll be back Wednesday night. And peace and love, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us, man. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Inbox me for your apparel. Hit up Kamar. Hit up Rail, man. Y'all be safe, man. Be strong. One love.
For sure.